وانو بحبار نبدأيو لومي وانو والسلفينات النت جمبار كتجبت والسلفينات النت جمبار كتجبت يندر عينا ولا نسحر
Hey Fevin, salam. Beanie OG, what's up, brother? That's fine. Salam. شعبية أنصرنا. Rahel, salam. That's cool. Hakuna. Really old song. Salam Hawate. Nashabi had different. Let's go share. Let's go. Get some people in here. Hi Sarah Hafte. Sarah Shukur. Fana. That's my hitter, Fana Berhane. That's it. The singer is Sahaitu Barafi. Today we have an interesting topic. People are going to get mad, but hey, somebody got to talk about it. Let's keep now. What? What's going to come from this? All's good, Yodita. How are you? File. Thanks, Fana Hafte. This lady was singing Ansara. She was singing Ansar Shabiya back then. Shabiya Tabai. Respect, that's why. Thank you. That's what's up. I'm glad you're okay, Yodita Hafte. Thank you, Nahu Alula. Much love. All right, that's the end of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest for you today. The long-awaited Hawuna Manase Nufa, representing Seattle, Washington. I'm sure all of you felt welcome. Abel Ambessa, let me bring him on, and I will mute our brother. And Booyah, Abel Ambessa, Salam Hawaii, Kamalaha.
Salam, salam, Hawat. It's been long and awaited. It's been a while since I've been gone, but I'm happy to be back. And I'm excited to talk to you today. We got a lot of topics, because we have to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Hawaii is the last time I seen you. And then salama selfie Gernan in Seattle. Hayal Seliwasina. We did a lot of things. You're very active, justice seeker. A lot of people know you. I've also seen you on YouTube prior to all the stuff happening. You know, a lot of followers, a lot of viewers. We want to say we thank you for the work you've been doing. It's people like you, man. I say that the youngest that are the voice of the voiceless that are actually doing something. You're talking and you're doing action, just like Cap Eddie, and I appreciate that. With that said, Gin, we also have Baba Bayane, our boy Bayane, coming through. Whenever he hops in, we'll let you guys know. If he can, I'm sure he'll call me. There's a lot of questions as a Hatot comes here. Let me bring it closer on the screen. There's a Hatot comes here, Lomi. Because Tamale, Tamale, I did it live. Abel, I'm sure you saw it. ريخاي نركا بوزا حريق نرم جيني جرمكا however in the حتوت حتيتس. If I ask questions, people catch feelings, right? This is the elephant, biggest elephant in the room right now. Because Arabulu Zaydeli Malatu. Ignore One of the questions I asked when and I'm gonna ask you about Medley, well, you got a flag behind you that I also salute Mish. But before we get there, let me ask you. There's a lot of change, Abel, a lot. So, Abiy Ahmed, he got whooped. You know what I mean? It's plain as day. I know I'm not politically correct when I say this. Mish, he got whooped. Plain and simple. 3 weeks happening, 1 month happening, a few. كلهم دك امحارة دك بزيز اتهم نبرت وتهدرنا تخا كلهم تهاريمم تزبيتهم كانن فارر يلومم يحواتنا انا نصحاني اريتراوينا يحواتنا باريترا زلوها مصهم ولا حنتو مويتو مالتي. Is this sub يحزنك? This really makes you mad. It really burns me because يحواتي مويتهم for no reason. ابزيز حررني مش for no reason. So I went on Facebook, I did a little topic discussion لسمعي ليوم. In the head, if TDF obviously is going to reorganize, lick his wounds, help his people, is going to do everything he needs to do to get right. Mish, Abiy Ahmed is doing that. Isais Forki is doing that. They're all doing whatever they got to do to get straight again. This is the biggest question. In the head, Isais Forki goes back. He's back in Eritrea. Abiy Ahmed had him move back to Addis, right? But in Western Tigray, we still have Amhara militia and some Eritrean troops. Alomish?
Reportedly, correct.
Right. I can't remember the name of that place I mentioned earlier. Remember the name? Humera. Smart guy. So despite all this, because it's a standoff, and that political figure yesterday, or the day for yesterday, the spokesperson at the UN, Tazaribu, it's a conflict of land ownership, blah, blah, blah. What if TDF decides they want Isaias Forki Baalom Delinayon Hilom Kaatun Hidelium? What if? Am I not allowed to ask this question, Abel Hawe? Why am I not allowed to ask this question? Why This is realistic. Go.
And as you كله محراك مستجمرو مس حتيكايو صبوغيو محراك. You know, people care about their country. Again, ناي ديليت ناي إريتراوي أخونا نحج إتي ديليت ناي ديليت ناي إريتراوي توديو November 4th توديو. What the Eritrean diaspora wants for these parties to do at this point, it's beyond what you want. It's not about what you want, Captain Eritrea. It's not about what Ado Ambassa wants. It's not about what any of us want. That opportunity has passed. We had 20 years, 30 years to talk about what we want to do. And unfortunately, no, it's not our fault. It's not your fault. We were split for many reasons. You know, Auraja, Hamanot, Beher, even Hasab, ideology. And I know a lot of this is set after Isaias. You see right now, in the middle of all of this, he's implemented a new patriarch of the Orthodox Church, just to create more friction. Another way to split even people that are owned. This is what he does. So, but time has passed. It is not an opportunity for us. What do you want? What do you want TDF to do? They are protecting their land, their sovereign land. And the fact that Eritrea invaded, it's very unfortunate.
Wait. You sound like a TDF sympathizer. Como hatitka sympathizer. See it
realist, fine. You know, I already know. You know, they throw TIGRAY and all that stuff. And then I know you with a grain of salt. Same with me.
So let me ask you, is it a possibility that TDF can go to Tigray? Yes or no? I'm sorry. Is it a possibility TDF can go into Eritrea? Yes or no?
It's just as much as a possibility as Eritrea could invade. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. This was a little off.
There's a lag.
Okay. Yeah, it's a possibility, Mish. We can't rule this out. We can't rule this out.
It is.
So okay, listen to this. I have to word my questions carefully because a lot of people directly people don't like that. Is it a possibility TDF can want revenge for Messiah's Fork? Answer is yes, Ilka. I agree with you. At what cost? Won't this cause our brothers and sisters more Eritrean Humotu?
Absolutely. You're 100% right. However, because of this Ethiopian civil war, we had Eritreans die because of an Ethiopian civil war. I'm going to say that one more time. You know, I see in Tagam, I wish the Ethiopia, Neru, Eritrea with Atio. They had a civil war, but we decided to enter of a civil war. So Eritreans died because of that. So now they defend their sovereignty, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we invaded their sovereignty. But Eritreans have already been dying since November 4th. And Eritreans, because Shabia breached their sovereignty, now Eritrean innocent lives are at risk. That it is not the fault of TDF or anything to me. Shabia went and put our sovereignty on stake, and they put it out there. So now that is out the window. On top of that, you have Sarawitna Eritrea, Tagalati, wearing Amharu jumpsuits. You have them wearing Amharu Chamma. So now after that, all these games, it has opened the door to both sovereignty.
So
can I ask you?
Go ahead.
And I'm probing this because I know what you always preach. You and I talk all the time. Is this the reason why you've always been trying to preach peace between us and our neighbors of the South?
Thank you for asking that question. That's an excellent question. So, I know what got combat ate what the cost is. You know what I mean? Most of them in the diaspora, tracking? So I know what the cost is. I know many zitafa, I know many khumawat, I know the innocent lives. My point is this though. Already I asked myself, is the sugar Miss Jamare in her TDF khani? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? TDF Abi Ahmed, if it beats Abi Ahmed and it beats Size 40, what are we gonna do? What's Eritrea gonna do? We're gonna go against each other? We can't. Are we gonna make TDF our enemy? You can only make TDF your enemy if they invaded your land first. We went into Tigray, Eritreans, mish. Fact. Prove it. Eritrea troops in Tigray alone, blah blah blah. Mish Kandai Mansamaina. They look stupid because now the whole world, hello, now everybody is not singing that song no more. I already knew. I seen it. Now that they're in Tigray, what's supposedly What is the final impact? What is the final situation? What is the end state? انتهى إزمات إن إريتريا هيجي. Now we could say no. Meretna khaytun kufu. There's a lot of diet higdef that come on my page. Meretna khaytun kufu. From where? Where are you going to show them from? You're going to show them from America? You're going to show them from Thailand, Bangkok? You see Tishigir Zalo? Abzi luflufu. Amedrik alosu. Abzi Nintendo is autu. Abzaha yumotu. But it's on politicians that has bulu. Is it or war, Mr. Wadee, in the which I doubt. Now that TDF beat Abiy Ahmed in the Forki, what do you expect them to do? Think about this. Just as that Hasabala. Ethiopia, Eritrea, Tigray. Mish? Abma'khal. Nabzin Herkaira. Wugil Trakibia. Nabzin Herkaira. Wugil Trakibia. So what's the next? What's this outlet? And what is the number one threat to Hizbi Tigray right now? The number one threat to Hizbi Tigray is not Abiy Ahmed. Abiy Ahmed is a kurkur. He's a sarai. He's weak. Abiy Ahmed, he doesn't, political strategist will hanti falani. Hahari Sadidu is Arabu. Man asay the Amhara militia and the Sadere, Fano, Yumotu. By the thousands. He's not a threat. The number one threat in the many TDF is what they know this. Mish Ginaloha Harizulu, Eritrean Trahina no Rudo. Haharahani Matsumsi Ilom Kumago Gin. Here's some of them. You Matsumish. They better not come into Eritrea. I say, okay, I'm with you. I agree. I don't want no Eritreans to die. I agree. But what's the alternative? What's the alternative? They better not come into Eritrea. You Blumish? Or what? What are you going to do? Harim Kayam, Zabit Kayam, and then you say they better not come into Eritrea? It doesn't make sense.
And Nabdiliyat Talif Nail. It's not about what you want. Unfortunately, we've already put ourselves in a situation. I should say, and I shouldn't even say we, the Eritrean government. They put ourselves in a situation where the TDF is trying to secure their borders and eliminate any threats. And it's been very clear last 8 months we've gone in. I'll stop saying we. Higdefawian, Sarawaitna Higdefawian, Atiom, Sarikom, Aridom, and now they have to eliminate their threat. When I think of it, how can they start building infrastructure? Mengandi, Emirati, Hakmanna, when they have a hostile threat that's right above it. And so I'm sure they're trying to go. It's been saying they're trying to go to Western Tigray to open up, to bring in all types of aid. But it seems to be, unfortunately, leaning towards them wanting to eliminate the threat. I know it seems as if Dr. Debretzian said something along the lines of yesterday about them not wanting to engage, but I think he was being bureaucratic. And you had Getachew a day or two before saying they'll eliminate any if need be. So this is where this. We didn't say this. You didn't say this. I didn't say this. This is what was said by the people who had actually didn't really get any help. Got a couple of from the EU. Fortunately, diplomatically, from the global perspective, nobody really helped them in terms of boots on the ground, per se. And go through genocide for 8 months. So I think they're going to do what they think is best for them.
So what you essentially what you're saying is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say. What's going to happen is going to happen. But why are Higdef all of a sudden? What's crazy to me? It's justice seekers, oppositions. Higdefawi
Hiji. Shagirom, Nahna Hizbikum Mowetium, Abenerom Miss Lampedusa. Poino. Abe Hiji video said that Kaitamali, Libyan Coast Guard of Hadajaba Kufriso Delio, Nefitinero. Hiji video not ka Facebook allo, Libyan had Eritrawit Taasirom Abarian Netatio. Abe Nerom Higdefawi. You know, اسمع مت أبخن ورا حدث كم هيك دفع نحن حزبين نموت عليهم أسكتهم. So now they care about his Eritrea. And it's because their mafia, it's because their cult, it's because their regime, Shabia, is now being threatened. I don't think these people at Higdafawi care about Eritreans. I don't think they do. The last 20 years, actually, I know they don't. The last 20 years, we've been getting Eritreans, our brothers and sisters have been drowning regularly. They have been getting sold into slavery. They have been getting trading cards with, you know, their all these Bedouins in Egypt and Libya. I mean, I don't. I didn't hear from them then. I did not hear from them then. And as a matter of fact, we will never hear about that. So now for them to say, you know, we care about his Eritrea, hasoti. It's a lie.
One guy came into my show and he said, not on my show, but on my Facebook, I was trying to find it. He said, you're wishing Eritreans come out to I said, no, that's not what I'm saying. Of course, we don't want Eritreans to die. Again, the truth is, Abel, that in the Herina to go. What is Eritreans gonna do in the Tigrayans Atom? Nab Eritrea. Abzil Leflifna is not gonna change nothing. And up social media Tazaribe, you think that's gonna change anything? Abu Zahonzalo is not gonna change anything. It's not. Hold on, I got Baba Bayane in here. Boom. Look who it is. Salam, Mr. Bayane. Kamalaha. I think he's prepping. Meanwhile, I'll just go you and I. I don't know if he can see us. Skinny. All right. Can you see him, Abel?
I can see him.
All right, when he's ready to talk, he can talk. But look, so he Salam. We can see you live.
3 minutes, haven't you? 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, Abel. Just you and I for a few.
Okay.
So it's amazing to me. They twist it to make it seem like Ansar Eritrean. It blows my mind. I'm thinking like, what if Atium Eritrea انت اين هنقبر انت اي موت solution حتى له so Ansar حريق because when it's early comes inshallah ما wished that they can't never get rid of مش الساعة بقائم حاسبومبر they can't use logic and reason and tell you comes إنا نقبر comes إنا نقبر أي بلوخانيوم so سيلك أطرح Ansar Eritrea تزارب no بزعبا Eritrea يزارب because I care about Eritrea بزعبا Eritrea حتى تلخو because I care about my people because labam slazhonku hawe labam slazhone we have to ask these questions. There isn't one assessment I've made that's been wrong since this has started. Before it started, I talked about Sudan and Egypt and Trump. After it started, I talk about what's going to happen. I've been right all along. And all these people who have been challenging me have yet to see one that's been correct. If you think like a Higdaf, basically you're thinking like Kamam Hara Had Hasid. And I hate to say that because كلهم تيم Higdafawi كسعرفوا كزاربوا قال أن إريتريا حوخوا الصرحوا كلهم حوس واس مس أمحارا أبزيزنا وروا Ethiopia's عبي خمتات كميهم. If you ever notice, one thing Higdafawi have in common, some sort of ties na Amhara lo كلهم. It's amazing to me. I studied them. Is it Higdafi? Many shumu. لقاسي قال مش قالوا قال حوس واسنا أمهار شيم إذا يوم كاب علم إريتراوي أم يبلو ده حراي تصنع هجمانك for example فرق أمهارا فرق إريتريان ده كاره جنك تبتوعد like منينتا زي تفلت so she's shunning the Amhara side. This is what I don't understand. Just be honest. If you're born in Eritrea, you're half Eritrean, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being mixed, bro. Zero. As long as you identify with, you and I talked about that. If you identify with Eritrea because you think you're Eritrean, You're Eritrean. Cool. No one's taking that away from you. Quit trying to use Mininet as an excuse to hate Tigray and Hizbi Tigray and Kamzitat, and then use that as an excuse as you're fighting for Eritrea. I don't condone that. I don't buy that. That's what makes me believe you're not Eritrean. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
تي سرعتنا شعبية يوكا كم زي حساب تسريحهم بتصلعلي أنصارنا كل سب تقانا to be Eritrean محننا Eritreawi you have to hate these other groups to prove your Eritrean. That's this ideology that's been created by Sharia. So and it's very clear, the way we even see it, some people that are dying. We see it.
Diet.
Yeah, we هكدف ركع هكدف قتين.
هكدف ركيك. قتين هكدف دي diet هكدف.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Like that, I see them. A lot of people that are one nation, gala gala, they love Sharia, the system, all that. They just hate Isaias. They just have a grudge against Isaias that he gave them North Korea instead of Singapore. They're just system, So those people that I'd rather know my higdafawi abu allo. I don't want somebody that's diet higdaf. Zi langa firki mongoy adelokun halaf abgisalay.
Tell me what langa means.
It means like waswas. They're half and half.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Let's start this conversation like this.
Okay.
Ana Dawite, Miss Captain Eritrea. Okay. Yeah. I gave myself the name Captain Eritrea because I knew it would resonate. Okay. My mom and dad are, obviously I'm Eritrean, they're Eritrean. Now here's the thing. I was born in Asmara. Abdu Golgol is where I'm originally from. Now here's the thing. What does that really mean? You know what that means, Abel? Nothing. What am I gonna take out a card and be like my Eritrean citizenship? I could be lying, Mish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play politics. I'm gonna go extra hard to show you I'm Eritrean. You know what I mean? I'm Eritrean. Isaias كسعر له wow خبلة سهانة موز با Eritrean.
My favorite. Wala hamak wala tsubokerom amongo Eritrea. Mingesti Eritrea okabile. That's how.
Yeah. That's my favorite one. Eritrea, no matter what.
Facebook right or wrong, I stand by Eritrea. Eritrea's government is what they're saying by Sharia.
This is the mindset that we have to remove. You know why? Eritrea, right or wrong, Zivlakazalo. In her, my mic atilom, Miss Eritrea as a loho Zivlakazalo. In the her Rashinom, in the her Amitzom, Miss OM do Zivlakazalo. Is the am nomne. You know why I'm nomne? Because check this out. Natum silin حكيت كا Facebook natum تا خاطري جرمكا Abiy Ahmed Ethiopian flag comes you. Eritrea right or wrong you blogging. Abiy Ahmed Amlach Isaias Hizam Eritrea right or wrong. Eritrea right or wrong you.
Eritrea wala hamak wala tsubok gebira iti hagi. A nation Meretu, Eritrea can't do right or wrong. It's land. They're saying, I've talked about this with you before. They're saying Mingistina Eritrea. It is what they're saying, which is the most, the very low frequency, Their isn't ready, you can't even talk with these people that say that, right? Because a government can definitely do right and it definitely can do wrong. All governments can do right or wrong. But to say, I'm going to stand, they shadow it with this patriotism and this, not patriotism, it's nationalism in terms of, I'm going to stand by my country, right or wrong. Well, yeah, you should always stand by your country. You don't have to stand by your country's government, right or wrong. To stand by your country, right or wrong, you stand by the people. What's going to preserve their life so Eritreans don't go extinct? Because at this rate, we have boats getting captured every day. We have people being traded in Libya and Egypt every day. Lately, I've seen, Eritrea in Niger, in Egypt, all these random countries. What are they doing? Why this Eritreans don't live in Eritrea anymore? But ARMIES isn't a cut. So this is why I want to say that's what I'll stand by, right or wrong, is Hizbi Eritrea. So it really confuses me that all these people right now, and I said this earlier, they care so much about Hizbi Eritrea. Where have they been the last 20 years? Where have they been the last 20 years where our people have been dying and fleeing like crazy, saying, what do we need to do? I did not, whether you're Higdafawi, whether you're the Olanti, whether you're, the silent majority, Eritrea is unlivable. Eritrea is unlivable. And I've said this before. If you look at 1974, the ratio of Eritreans to Ethiopians, I read an article. They said for every 15 Ethiopians, there was one Eritrean. And this is just a point of reference. I believe 1991, after Natsanet, it was about, I think, 23 or 25 to 1. Now, I think the article was written 35 to 1. So this tells you and then you have obviously the rates of immigration, every month, Eritreans fleeing. Is Eritrea livable? And I ask this to you, Higdafawi, to Olanti, to Hone. Is it livable? The data shows it's not. Will Eritreans be around 30 years from now? Whether it's Isaias, Weddu'u, Gabra'ab, Kasa, Kisha, Zohona, Zohona Marahi. Will Eritreans still be living in Eritrea? Will they still be around? These are questions that Higdafawi needs to start asking each other, because I think people like you and I know, justice seekers, it's unless something happens, it's not looking good for our people. It's not.
100%. Eritrea is not livable. If Eritrea was livable, all these diet Higdafawi wouldn't be everywhere else. So my question is this. One topic that we have to discuss and we have to accept. كلنا Eritrawi, we have different opinions. That's okay. I'm entitled to my opinion. But one thing we all should work for is the betterment of Eritrea. And this is where me and Beanie sometimes we clash. My man Beanie Man, Mish. Now, Beanie Man is very patriotic to Eritrea, but not so patriotic that he's blinded. Even though we have a lot of different opinions, he understands that he doesn't want anybody to enter Eritrea and cause our brother's death, our sister's death, right? Okay, I agree with him 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. جينا حواتنا عاتيهم بعلم نحبديلهم بسنكي تمنجستي إريتريا عبين رومتيهم هيك دفاوي كد حنوهم شعوب سلام وسلفي دوري خات فلت بزعبه هيك دفاوي تسيهم يحواتي أب تجراي موتلو يحواتي أو تصوم كاب تجراي هم سمعها خات بهيك دفاوي تريد فلت انت ريخا بهيك دفاوي ندرجي يا محارة باندرا حيزم اتيام زروشونو نار زنبرو مسوم هو خبلو جنتري زيون عايز يحرقني جين
عشوية لهم كلنا قال
يا زيز يحرقني زيز حزنني so for me أبي نروم يوم هيك دفاوي يحواتي أبلام بدوسة بالكام يحواتي ولا بتقرأ حجي آتيهم كموتوك على سخلو أبي نروم حجي أنا سلام كان حاطط كلنا موتي ريف نحو إريتريا آتيس انت عينا خنقبل كلنا جين كلهم تسيوم أنصارنا تزاربوا بلا 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 يملانا خنزيبل برو أبي نركا يحواتك خموتو خلو إثيوبيا كدقفوا جين أتسكيد كان نركا حجي جين حجا لو حار نايز يزبهال Arcade San Diego. I love the little guy, but he has a lot to say, Mish, on text. Come to my show. Let's debate, shall we? Why don't we do that? Let's debate like you and I are doing, Mish. Let's do that instead of coming on my Facebook talking about. Well, my brother, I got news for you. Mela Zenawi, how many kilometers was he away from Asmara?
Like 40.
That's reality. Reality, Mish. So we have a few choices as I see it. A, Musam Tawisna noted on Isaias. B, this is just discussion. Don't get mad at me because I've been taking a lot of hits. Option number 2, يعطونا logistical support يهابنا بعلنا إريتراوي أتينا نوصل. Option 3, أبوشت إريترا زلو uprising جرون بعلم يقتلوه. His B, which is we've been waiting 60 years, nothing. Options we don't see nothing. What are we going to wait another 30 years while his son takes Eritrea and leads us again? No. And the last option, number 4, he finishes it right there. If this happens, it's musuzalo bodyguard, it's berbarat yamane manke khomsat, ba'alom nirta abilamo. بوزح مخسبة لنا إريتريا مالتي. You know why? 1, جيجننت نتنا نحلوه لنا. 2, Eritrea took care of Eritrea's problem, right? 3, كلا عدي عتيو Eritrea كوتس علنا تشجرنا حفرات يمن. If you really want to talk about جيجننت جاغانو كنبل كلنا بعلنا عتينا نحودينا تعقدها خمس بالكو. We can say, hey, Yoreta, the war was not with us. It was the Adgi leadership, Isaias, Tinab Zahawi, it's Hizbi Adelanan, Knibal Nakhal. Ba'alanagin Katilnayo. This is the only other options, Elena. What other options do we possibly have? Can you elaborate on that?
You laid them all out.
I don't know if there's any other options.
Options, but talked about them going in, doing whatever, Zidilai, whatever they want. Us partnering them with them. They're, them working with whatever was left of the ERITREAN opposition groups at this point. Them arming them, TDF, or somebody. There's an internal uprising, or there's an internal overthrow. These are the options.
Well, is it bad if Tigray arms Eritrean opposition atem kumtsuo no ba'alana Eritrea's ba'alana atinach notes again logistical support kala aditat na hagizomna. We all know that comes with a price. Obviously, it's going to come with a price. Nothing's free.
Everything comes with a price. There's also the price of us standing around doing nothing, waiting another 30 years, and having another 30 years of Eritreans dying. Eritreans.
You bring a great point there. You know why you bring a great point there?
That's that. Wait another.
Ma'ati Eritreans يموتوا له حجمش. أبحري Eritrean يموتوا له. كوفي نانتس إن هنا أفتي container عتيق أطلو ماله. ماني مخسب زلوازي. إسايس أمحارة مخسبة لهم نتي عصب سلط متوازلو. مش كوفي لنا another 30 years نحزيتا زاربنا لوجين نوت لوت إيماتسيني. My people يموتوا له anyways.
Every option there's a loss. Every option there's a loss.
Collateral damage is about collateral damage. It's easy for me to say this because I'm sitting here comfortably drinking coffee, Mish.
Yeah.
Easy for me.
Yeah.
Jin, if we don't do something more, who's the number 1 Eritrean killer of the Alam? Many.
Big Def Ali, besides supporting his crew.
So he's killed more Eritreans than disease, Hamam. There's nobody that killed more Eritreans than Isaias Afwerki.
Again, Haile Selassie, by far.
So where is the argument? All right, I think he's ready.
Yeah.
All right. Aboy Bayena, salam. We've been awaiting you. I'm going to put you on solo. Introduce yourself. It's nice to have you. Abel Ambessa Hat Misanalo, and go.
ሰላም መጀመሪያ ዳዊት ካፕቴን ኤሪትሪያ ኮሞን አቤል ከመይ ቀኒኹም ከመይ ኣለኹም እቲ ዝገበርኩም ለይ ዕድመ ኣብ ስራሕ እኳ ነይረ ግን ንናትኩም ክብረት ክብል ነታ መዓልቲ ሰዓት ተረኺበ ኣለኹ ቁርብ ደንጉ ይኸውን ግን ህይወት ናይ ኣሜሪካ ከምኡ እዩ እንዳሰራሕካ እንዳጎየኻ እዩ ስለዚ እንቋዕ ደሓን ብደሓን ተራኸብና ከመይ ኣለኹም ብፍላይ ኣብዚ ሰዓት እዚ እቲ ቅድሚ ወርሒ 2 ወርሒ ንዛረበሉ ንነበርና ውግእ ኣብ ቀርኒ ኣፍሪቃ ብፍላይ ከዓ ኣብ ትግራይ دارغان دا تود خيد الله سلازي شمي مكيل بين بهال ساندياغو قمت زغون خوينو تي نسوم كتقربو الدلي حتى وي أنا خان ناتي حلافنت انتا خبيل علني نعاهم مقدف سلازي يقني اللي نقولو نسمع زلو حزبي أنا حسابي يخهب تموكري يخهب من البات أنا كابت فلطون عاهم يهب نسخاتكم كوا كابت فلطون عي تلقسو عالم كومي أناتا ما هاركا أخات غيب في اللاي من السي ولدو نتاريخا تفلت نظم حاد خلتي نتاريخ حزب خان هاجر كان نداك قالوا زخودو زيكونو تاريخ حماق يكون صبوق نايز حادث ولدوتات تسنيدو يزخيد ناس حماق نخيد الجمت مهارلو ناس صبوق كاني كمناتكا تكال كمناتكا أكال كوينو تحزو تمعبلو تورسو لومي نحنا أبوتاتكم علينا صباح كأن نسخاتكم أبوتاتكم كون أمي سلازي حالفنتنا نسكم نحنا تاريخنا باهم نحلف نسخهم كأن أبدوكم تحلفو كم أصل زخنة يتقربوا تدلي حتى انتايو أقربوا لي إما أنا كأني بعقمي تزفلت واسك بلولكم يغني لي جزانا عهم.
Okay, thank you, Aboy Bana. It's good to have you here. We know about history not kan fotayna. Ana abel da ashhab question ala nagin. We got few of them that we pinpointed. Let's start with the history before we get into this. Is it combat? Is it we'll get? Let's discuss melee real quick. And then my first question to you, Aboy Bana, is melee. It's a flag. Menase, buzahalo zefaltuo. There's a lot of people that don't know about melee. Buzaba melee zefalt buzahalo. Ituhutot. Melee was given to Eritrea by UN Ilutas Haifilo Wikipedia. And Abel Nambuanerna. Is it Gagai? Can Urumolana. For the youngest that don't understand the flag that's behind us, 3 was alone behind us, we're gonna ask a boy Bayane. He's been in this business for 45 years. Tell us, Kamegera Malay Mesa, many Maritsuwa, Kamegera Eritrea Malay Tawahiba.
Thank you. مجمريا أقدم أبيله كوره الزلي إرتا هاجرنا كم هاجر كويناز أمهلو بشحن شمن تمئتين تسعان 1890 بتليان كنترول مسكونات إرترا جزئتي نايت إليان كوينا قويمة إدمو بمسافنتي تخيد نيران إزي نحاسو تاريخ إثيوبيا ناي سلسة شحنة 14 عزولو حاسو ديو إثيوبيا سلسة شحنة برد 14 شحنة برد إثيوبيا بمسافنتي تمحادر نيران ناي تيغراي مسافنتي نيروم ناي غوجام مسافنتي نيروم ناي شوا مسافنتي نيروم ناي ولو مسافنتي نيروم هاجرات إرترا راح زيكونت إثيوبيا راح زيكونت أب أفريقيا زلوا هاجرات أب 10 شمون تخبل زبن بمجزأتي ناي إيروباويان فرنسا إنجليز سبين بورتغيز بلجيم إيطاليا إزيان كلن هاجرات تماقيلن وريرن مسحازو إرتران صوماليان ليبيان كأب تحت قصصر نايت إليان كويننا إليان ني إرترا ناتو كلل ناتو جزءات غيرو دوبات إثيوبيا واغا
تمعكلنا
الهاسي من ليك واغا نيرو تافيه اللهم مثلني
واغا سمعكلنا
تدوبنا إرترا خلت 3 غزي زخون تحانسيسيو أما مጨረሻ ግን 1908 دوبنا زحج زلا إرترا نبلا أب تحت طليان كوينا كساب 1940 حادن تمحادر نيرا مس إثيوبيا ناتين بيزنس عينا برانا بوانزي نسل تهاجر كوينا إثيوبيا خا أبوتهم كم زلوا بدي حرقوا خاني 1935 حساب أديس أبابا مسيحت إليان مالتي أب إنجليز مس مسأي إسقاع شعوب بانديرا زلوين ورنان إنجليز كأني كابشحن شعتم من 40 حدن حساب شحن شعتم 50 حدن جزيوا أبشحن شعتم 50 حدن قال بارتتا تفتيران أب إيرترا نسألنا زبلان مس إليان زبلان مس إثيوبيا زبلان تفتيران مالتي إنجليز يونايتد نيشن بتون كلنا مجزأة زلوا هاجرات نسألنا كوزدا مستوسنة إيرتراون كم تنقل أتكتوسد نسألنا أوتت نيرو قال خدعت دك هاجر كنسون جن مس إثيوبيا أنت بهايمانو ديو أنت بزمدنا ديو أنت بوغن ديو anyway عندنا زبال حيل تفتيرو بتا عندنا برو إثيوبيا ويكاني مس إثيوبيا نحبر زي الاستراتيجي وسي خينيرو جن إذا خبال كله عندنا كريستيان راح يكونوا اسلام نيروم كريستيان نيروم دك خبسان نيروم دك مدحت نيروم صبوق نغرنا إرترا سوي بتم زقاو مخاخم نيروم مالتي تانا بتحطها خمص ملي بانديرا اولي كابينات نيشن ديات واهبه هنازل اندحري اب جوجل كمبيوتر صحف خوينو هقدر تصحفوي ملي مجمريا بزحات بانديراتاتين قريبا قلبدو تبهلالا it means like a goat like wild goat ማለት ይመስል ናታ ስእሊ ፕሮጥ ኢልያን ነሩ ወርሒ ነሩ ወርሕን ክሬሰንት ማለት እዩ ኮታ በብዝምባሊኡ ህዝብ ይቀርብ ነሩ ሕጂ እቲ ፓርላማ ና ኤርትራ 1952 ይቆይሙ ኣብ ፓርላማ is a discussion ኮይን ማለት እዩ constitution and flag ab federation مسكره constitution and flag ከጽቆ ከለው እዛ ናይ flag ሕቶ መጽያ ማለት እዩ ምክንያቱ federation ኮንካ independence ኣለዎ ግን ኣብ ትሕቲ ዙፋን ናይ ሃይለ ስላሴ ከም ሓደር መስበሉ ሞ ባንዴራና እንታይ ትኹን እንታይ ዓይነት ባንዴራ ክንገብር ኣለና ዝብል ሕቶ ኣብ ክትዕ መጽዩ ኣቦታትና ለባማት የመ ንኩሉ ሕብረተሰብ ንኸበሳን ንመታሕትን እተጸውዕ ባንዴራ ክንገብር ኣለና ኢሎም ንመጀመርያ ግዜ ከም ሓሳብ ዘምጽዋ አባ ተወልደ ብርሃን ዝበሃሉ ፈላሲ ኣብ እንደ አቡነ መንቀሪዮስ ኣብ ከባቢ ዓድጉልቲ ዓረዛ ዝበሃል ኣብ ሰራዩ ከባቢ ዓረዛ ዓድጉልቲ ዝበሃል ንሶም ከም ሓሳብ አቅሪቦማ ሕጂ ከም ሓሳብ ምስቅረብዋ ምሰቦና ደጃዝማች
ሓሳብ አባበን እዚኦም ሕጂ ሽዑ ግዜ ክርስቲያናይ እስላማይት በሓሳብ ገይሮም ደም ዝመርጹ ነሮም
of course parliament ናይ ኩሉ ኤርትራ ናይተን 8 አውራጃታት ወከልቲ ሎጉ apara 68 people susan shomantan sebeme
شومنت أوراجا بدل كلها أمس شومنت أوراجا دلكا بيهر
أوراجا
نقرنا منين
باركا سنحيت حماسين ساحل سمهار سراي أكلو غزاي كمون دنكل كابزيان توكلوا كابز كله حبرتسب توكلوا بتوم بحزب تماريصهم represent خلو represented by people they are elected people تماريصهم اب constitution مصداقن ናይ ባንዴራ خاني comments መጽ ይختዕ ነሩ ብዙሕ ግዜ ኣብ መጨረሻ እዞም ፈላሲ ሓሳብ ምሰምጹ ኣቦና ደጃዝማች በየነ زهلاي سوم كاب عد قيح يومي سئيلوم نزا فلاغ زيا أبارلاما أغريبوما أبارلاما مسقربوا تا معالت زقربوا September 13 1952 September 13 1952 Constitution na ኤርትራ ኣብ ናይ Federation ዝነበረ ክሰደልኩም ኽእለ ኢሜል ገብረልኩም ኽእለ you can see it at that time Constitution time መስለዩ ናይ ኤርትራ September 13 1952 እዛ ባንዴራ እዚኣ ምስ ቀረበት 68 by 68 vote 100 ካብ 100 vote ገይሮም ኣጽዲቖማ ሕጂ እዚ ፓርላማ እዚ ወኪል ሕብረት ህዝቢ ኤርትራ ይነርሽዑ ብመሰረት ንሶም ዘጽድቕዋ እዛ ባንዴራ እዚኣ ናይ ኤርትራ ባንዴራ ኮይና ቆይማ ማዕረ ናይ ኢትዮጵያ ትንብልበል ነራ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ ህዝቢ ሰብ መንእሰያት ክርዳእኩም ዝግብኦ ፓርላማ ነሩና ኮንስቲቱሽን ነሩና ባንዴራ ነሩና እዚ ሰለስተ ትካላት እዚ ዘለዎ ሃገር እዩ ብድሕሪዚ ኣብ ፓርላማ ብኢድ ናይ በዓል ሃይለ ስላሴ ከምኡ ናይ በዓል ኣሜሪካ ኤውሮጳውያን ወደብ ዘይብላ ኢትዮጵያ ከም ምባል ተበገሰ ኣውያት ናይ ኢትዮጵያውያን ንህና ድኽመት ከዓኒ ይርብኡ እቲ ፓርላማ ኣክንዲ ሰጢሙ ዝቃለስ ኣብ ነንሕድሕ ፈርተኽተኺሉ ዓቕሙ ናይ ነበረን ዋላ እኳ ንሃገር ዝመርሑ እንተነበሩ ከምዚ ሕጂ ብደረጃ ለባማት እዮም ከምዚ ሕጂ ተማሂሮም ኣቢሎም ግን ኣይኮነን ሰፊዕ ዓሚቕ ዝኾነ ተኣሽሙ ነበሮምን ተኻፋፊሎም ናይ ሓባር ረብሓ ናይ ሃገርን ነፃነትን ክብርን ኣብዚ ካብ 1954 55 56 እንዳተፈሓፍሑ እናተፈላለዩ ንኸዱ ሓይሊ ናይ ኢትዮጵያ ከዓኒ እናበርትዐ ኸይዱ anyway ኣብ 1959 ዓመተ ምህረት እዛ ባንዴራ እዚኣ ወሪዳ ኮንስቲቱሽን ናህና ተቐቢሩ ፓርላማ ናህና ፋሕፋሕ ኢሉ ኣብ ክልተ ተመቒሉ እቶም ዝቃወሙ ዝነበሩ ንስደት ከይዶም ሰውራ ጀሚሮም እቶም አንድነት ኮይኖም ዝኸዱ ከዓ ምስ ኢትዮጵያ ተሓዊሶም ኣብዚ እዋን እዚ
ነገርና እንታይ ሰውራ
revolution rebels ኮይኖም ማለት እዩ rebels ተላዒሎ ከልዕሉ ንሕና ነፃነትና ብሓይሊ ተሓዲግና ኣለና ኣኔክስ ገይሮም ኣለዉ ነፃነትና ካብዚ ተበገሰ ክንቃለስ ኣለና we have to struggle to return our liberation ዝብል ሕቶ ወይ ከማን ነፃነትና ክንምልስ ክንቃለስ ኣለና ኢሎም ማለት እዩ ሕጂ እንታይ ዓይነት ነፃነት እዮም ነፃነት ክብሉ ከለውሲ እንታይ እቲ ነፃነት ዝተሓደጎም ኢልና ክንሓትት ነፍስና የድሊ ኮንስቲቱሽን ናህና ሪቮክድ ኮይኑ ፓርላማ ናህና ተደምሲሱ ባንዴራና ተቐቢራ 1961 ሰውራ ክብገስ ከሎ ሪቮሉሽን ክብገስ ከሎ ነዘን ሰለስተ እዚአን ክመልሱ እዮም ተበጊሶም because ንሕና እዛ ባንዴራ እዚኣ ብሕጊ ወረደትን ብዓመፅ ኣወሪዳ ብሓይሊ ኣወሪዳ ብሸፋቲ ኣወሪዳ ኮንስቲቱሽን ናህና ከዓኒ ልክዕ ከምኡ ኩሉ ሃይለ ስላሴን ጉጅሉኡን አንድነትን 1962 ኤርትራ ሙሉእ ብሙሉእ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ምፀንበርዋ ትግርኛን ዓረብን ቋንቋ ኤርትራ ነይሩ ኦፊሻል ላንጉዌጅ ኣብ ኤርትራ 9 ዝኾኑ ላንጉዌጅ ኣሎ ትግርኛ ትግራይ ሳሆ ደንከል ዓፋር ኩናማ ናራ ህዳርብ እዚያን ዝባት 9 ቋንቋ ኤሊት ዝባሉን ኣሎ እዚኣ ታ ኤሊት ንሽ ምስ ኩናማ ምስ ናራ እዮም ዘለዉ ግን ብዙሓት ኣይኮኑ ውሕዳት እዮም ግን ቋንቋ ኣለዎ እዚ ሃብታም ቋንቋታት እዩ ግን ኣቦታትና ለባማት እዮም ኣብቲ እዋን እቲ እውን እቲ ናይ ሃይማኖት ባእሲ ዘይኮነሲ كم يقرنا أنا ما أخلو زبل رئيتان يرو حجي بقالشنا خنتاي رئيوه تتغرينيا كمنا كريستيان قانقا غيرهم رئيوه بقال خاني نتي اسلمنا زأمن كمتقرنا فنتاي نقبر زبل حتو خاني حساب أمتيهم حجناتهم كلهم دقباركا سمهار ساحل عفار القرآن بعرب سلو تقاملو باقان السانو خطور نفهم عصر تقانقا official language كتقبل هاي تقلنغا عرب اليوم تساماميعهم كل جزء سمم عند حرقيركا صبغيو بتقبار أبيت مرتات خيد نيرو أب أوفيسات تقاملو نيرو سلازي زبان درازيا علاويت ببرلمان إرسال صدقة تنبر يونايتد نيشنز ذهبنا أيقونن زي عمل لي سألكم كون تصفى قبل حجي تاقند كتحزوا زلكم سلامنتا أبوتاتكم كقالوا سنبرها خيدون سوي جدنا أبونا حامد رسا عوته دي جمرو صورة مستم خالقوت تقالستي انتاي كمتسئلو ينبرها وفيرو زبل حتو مملاس تعمي امبورتانتي إذن سلسته كونستيشن هنا بحيلم بر بديلة حزب إرترا أي ريفوك دا يكون وكان تطوعي بدن بانديرانا هنا بعمس امبر بديلة حزب إرترا أي وردتن بارلامان هنا قاني بعمس يفحفحيلو سلس إزي نبوتو أخملس اتقادسي يخيد نيرو unfortunately اتي شفتا ناي ساحل بزعبازي كزنتس لزيدلي نز تاريخ زين حزبي من اسك فوتوس لزيدلي نزي قبيرو بانديران اتو حق زي بالله هاجر اتي كبر زغونه اوراجاتنا فحبيلو نحزبنا بدحرو خا اتسترفه ابلع الحزبنا زولدو تريو واللهم بعضهم مالتي ازي تي ناي بانديرانا تاريخ ودعنكا.
Excellent. Abel, I will afford you the opportunity to ask him about the question you had earlier. And it was about, I can't remember. So you gave the flag, how it started. And then I know there's a lot of, when I say they don't know too much about, there's even Abeiti. Tehazi a blue flag, Tehza. Eritrean flag, Tehza. Oh, transitional. Go ahead, Abel.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
The current flag, along with our government, it's not a permanent flag implemented by a constitution. It was not voted.
It is true. It's true. This flag is Isaias and his puppets the flag. By law, مجمريا نجر flag كتقبل كلها constitution كتقبل كلها ولا ذا flag زيها حزب إرتران هاتو برلمان مريسو هاجراو حق جيرو ولا ذا flag زيها ببرلمان دحري vote جيركا كتغير هذا اللي خا يكان change كغير خيلو جين حد عوالا سب ويكا حد شفتا سب انت دلي غير انت دلي قوما يكونن كوم يكونن حزب إرتران كردو أزقبو النبرة مجمريا زفلاق زي كورت كله نبعلهم حزباو جنبار حرنة إرترا نيرترا خاتو خلو تسعان حدن زفلاق زي أزيهم حيدم ناتيو تاناتهم أرمع نابنا نايتقاد لحرنة إرترا أرمالو تكالري فالالمبر ستارز لو أرمالو إذا أرماي نتوم سوءات نتوم جغانو تسوؤوا أميرا ناتوم مسؤول عقون خيلي international flag جن نقول زما أخلي حادة كالاي حادة سب كم دللا يخبر عند حرز فوق أره خوينو نتوم سعبتنا هذه شفتها وجيلة نعوم زملكة هذه مخنياتو حدا هاجر نحنا بأمريكا نبرر لنا ريبابليكان ان ديمقراطيك كما يقبرلو نريهم علينا بزعبا عدهم كحاده هون مخنيات حق لهم كونستيشن لهم نحنا ግን قدف كونستيشن نهاجر قدف قبرسي أوراجاتات كونستيشن نيروان ناتن حق نيروان ببرلمان أوراجاتات برلمان نفس وقف عدي توكال غيرو زصدقوا 200 years قبره كونستيشن الله بإرسا 200 years مغازي تمهار هزبو نقولو مزبلت أي من محدار نتي ووتهم زنبابر نقراتهم نحرشهم نتي إيكونوميناتهم كما يقرم يما قلوه بزعبات كل نقرات زمال ناي مرعى مسيز قبرو مس قربا بتزلهم زمدناتات سفيع زغونه very polite and بتعمل important زغونه constitution الله لك خمس نصهم زنورو له هيوت إذا سرعات زي مس بله actual أنا سرعات هاي بلاني وجيله يزبله باربرا وزغونه وجيله نتي ناوراجاتات زنبره حقن دبا مثلا نعو خفرس نتفراجاتات فح بيلو مخنيات كونستيشن كم راح يدلني بحقه كم راح يدلني سلازي ابي ارسرا زلو ባህሊ ابي ارسرا زلو حقታት ابي ارسرا زلو ልምድታት كتطفئ ከም ዘለዎ بإسياساዊ ተሓሳስባ ኩሉ ሕብረተሰብ ክምልመልኩም ዘለዎ ከም መደብ ሒዝዎ ስለ ዝኸደ እቲ ንዕኡ ከም ኣምላኽ ገይሩ ዝሪኦ ሰዓብናቱ ከዓ ሃገርና ጠፍአት ደድሕርኡ ክስዕብ ንርኢ ኣለና ሓሳብ ሕጂ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ፍላግ ክቅየር ይኽእል እዩ ግን ፕሮሰስ ኣለዎ ፓርላማ ኣቑምካ ብሕሊ ኤሌክትድ ኮይኑ ህዝቢ ንዕኡ ዝውክል ንህዝቢ ዝውክል ቀሪቡ እቲ ንዕኡ ዝጥዕሞ ንዕኡ ዝሕሾ በቲ እዋናዊ ክውስን ይኽእል እዩ ግን ከምኡ ተገብረና ኣብ ኤርትራ 30 ዓመት ተገይሩ ኣብ ኤርትራ ብዘይ ፓርላማ ብዘይ መራሕቲ ሚኒስትርስ ከማን እቶም ሚኒስትራት ኢሳያስ ይዝመርሑ ፎርማል እዮም ሶም ኮፍ ኢሎም ዘለዉ እምበር ሓደ ሚኒስትሪ ብዛዕባ ናቱ ሚኒስትር ክገልጽ ሰሚዐ ይፈልጥና ምናልባት ተሰሚዕኩም ንስኹም ንገሩኒ ግን ኣነ ሰሚዐ ይፈልጥን ቁሩብ ይሕሹ ኣብቲ በዓል ድሩዕ ዝነበረሉ ግዜ ገለ ይዛረቡ ነይሮም ግን ፕራክቲካል ኣይኮነን ኣልሚዶሞ ሰብኣይ እቲ ስድነት ኣልሚዶሞ ንኩሎም ካልኦት ብሓደ ጥፊእዎም ስለዚ እዚ ናይ ህግደፍ ዝብልዎ ዋላ ገለገለ ዓበይቲ ሰባት ዝብልዎ ሓቆም እየ እዚኣ ናይ ኢሳያስ ባንዴራ እያ ዋላ ናይቶም ምስኡ ዝመርሑ ዝነበሩ ከማን ሓሳብ ኣይኮነትን እየ ዝብል ኣነ ግን ንሱ if he said they are okay people okay ግበራ ሕራይ ከም ድላይ ከወድ ኣፎም that's what happened ስለዚ እዚ እቲ ታሪክ ናይ ኤርትራ ዘሎ 30 ዓመት ሰብኣይ ዝገብሮ ደውሎም ረቢሾምና go ahead
Thank you. Great response, Baba Bayan and LA. And I want to add something because I seen a comment that you pinned, Captain, and it said, and I didn't said before, but I seen Jonas said, no, it's an Eritrean flag. You don't mind, Jonas? I mean, Captain, I want to explain in English for the men that say that watch. They need to learn this too. You know, for the ones that don't, I want to learn the history because that, you know, I'm going to run through what Baba Bayan said so well. So Mele, we have Mele right behind me right here. It is something that was unanimously decided by 1952 Parliament, is what he was telling us. The 1952 Parliament, Eritreans don't know about this. It's the the parliament where we had, a federation that was formed in 1952, where we had groups that wanted to have partition, which was portions of us going to Sudan, portions of us being with Ethiopia. You had the Mahbaranet, people that wanted to be fully joined with Ethiopia, and then you had people that wanted independence. From that, we got this half-baked process of being a federation. But the federation had a 5-point plan. The federation had 5 things. We got to have our own flag, control over domestic affairs, including police, local administration, and taxation, and our own judicial structure. So from there, we have the flag. It was not given to us by the UN. It is not a Jabha flag. It is a flag that was voted upon all the 68 members of our Congress or our parliament. And it was designed by a guy named Degiat Bayanet Hayev Honda. He is designer of the flag, not the UN. So that is a lie. That is a lie that was pushed out by people that were part of Mahbarandanet, which is one of the 6 or 7 parties that were part of the parliament. And people, why are these lies propagated? They don't want people to ask questions. If these lies weren't propagated, people would say, where did this flag come from? It came from our parliament. Oh, we had a parliament with an election for all 7 of our regions. We had an election of all of our parties, where we had Unionist Party, Democratic Party, Muslim League, and the Masawa League, the Nationalist Party. So people would start to ask questions. People would start to ask questions. Oh, we had pluralism back in Eritrea, but the flag was voted unanimously by all 68 people, and it was designed by Degiat Bayanet Sahaya. And when this federation formed, there were some people that were part of the independence bloc, the Liberal Party, that didn't want to be part of the federation that I read. One of them being Rastasema Asmerom and Ato Tadlabayro, the father of Hiru Tadlabayro. And I wanted to mention him because he became, once we had a federation, he became the head of state and the chief executive of Eritrea, but he resigned in 1955. Why don't we know about those things? Why aren't these things taught by Higdef or Shawia? Because there was another leader of Eritrea. There was another leader, post-colonialism, a chief of, head of state, beyond Isaias Soporki, your God, for the Higdefawi. After 1955, Haile Selassie, he removed Ted Labairu, and he put in Asfaw Willie Michael, who was a pro-unionist and did kind of all the work that Haile Selassie wanted, where he brought in Ethiopian teachers. They targeted the blue flag. The unionists said started spreading rumors that this is a flag of the United Nations. They removed political parties in 1955. They removed trade unions in 1958. And then by 1959, just like Baba Bayan was saying, they dropped it from a government. They reduced it down to the administration. And by 1962, they dissolved the region of Eritrea as its own federation, and it became just another province, just like he was saying. And they mandated, this is where the Amharization of Eritrea began, where they were forcing, people to speak Amharic, and they lowered the flag. But September 1st, 1961, just like he was saying, Hamid Idris Owate, he took that flag and he rose it up. He held it up figuratively, and he was, fighting this erasure. This is what Shabia does. They erase history, just like the Unionists. He fought back. He rose this flag, not because of Jabha. It's because he believed in Eritrea. This was a symbol of Eritrea. That's what that flag is. So they tried so much then to erase the history of the flag. They tried to do it now. It's not a UN flag. It's not a Jabha flag. It's a flag of Eritrea that was voted unanimously. When you call it a Jabha flag, this is Shabia, their strategy to parlay with all the other lies they parlay together with Jabha. So there's one quote I want to read from a great article that I suggest everyone to read. The article is written by our brother Gadi Johar. It's called Eritrean Symbol of Many Colors. A very good article that says, it touches on some of the stuff that Baba Bayana spoke from. The quote is, the PFDJ is neither qualified to choose the symbols of Eritrea, nor caring enough to lecture Eritreans on the virtue of a flag. What they have introduced is a symbol of authoritarianism and disunity. It is a symbol of oppression. It should be shunned by all activists who should not rally behind a flag that is a symbol of oppression, imposed by an authoritarian ruler, undemocratically imposed by the oppressor of the Eritrean people. But for a start, activists must start referring to this as the Eritrean flag instead of the one given by the UN. So I'm no dealer or distributor of the Eritrean identity or Eritreanism. But I'll be honest, I don't identify with the current flag. That flag has been the justification of the imprisonment, the torture, the enslaving, the raping, the human trafficking, and the drowning of my people. So I'm not donning the same flag of the party I oppose. I refuse to be subdued by that type of psychological warfare. I'm not doing it. Shabia has continued this Maoist rampage of historical erasure on UN flag, a Jabha only elected flag of any tribe, just like we've been talking. Until a democratic body decides on a new flag, I'm rocking with Mele.
Excellent, excellent points. Very, very powerful messages by you and Mr. Bayene. I appreciate that. The fact that my youngin is that knowledgeable is amazing to me. We're going to go to another topic now. We're at an hour. Here's the thing. We discuss Mele. We'll come back and do a whole show on Mele. I understand. Haji, at least my people and the youngins understand Mele was not given to us by the UN. The people of Eritrea chose Mele. Also, it ain't about Muslim and Christian. It was both. It was selected by both. Everyone in that country selected Mele. Now you got people that are usually have some sort of agenda, or I call them the Kadergi Hoswas that want to highlight the new flag because that's the only ownership to Eritrea, because they don't want to be, they don't want people to realize who they truly are. And I see a lot of that. I can see clearly. I see right through them. But now let's, I got Beanie Man texting me. Let's cut to the chase, Ibnu. Oh, that's Baba Bene. Okay. People are saying, let's cut to the chase, Ibnu. Now check it out. Yeah, let's cut to the chase, shall we? Beanie Man, what is the real question? The real question is, when and how will TDF avenge its people against Isaias Forki? I don't want to say against Eritrea, because the Eritrean has been the Asiromam, they couldn't do nothing. Mish, when and how will TDF go after Isaias Forki? Should they go through Eritrea to do it? I'm just asking a question. I don't know. I'm just asking a question. In the TDF and Isaias Delia, ab Eritrea Atiadeto, does it send Eritreans to do it? How will they avenge their brothers and sisters? Because it's coming, right? It might take 1 year, it might take 2 years. Eventually, something's got to give. We know this. The real question, Gin, how is this going to happen? We can't be naive and just assume. So I have this question for Mr. Bayene. Let me exit solo layout. Mr. Bayene, Kamegera TDF Nesayas Tefardos Hulu Shigurdem Salab Ada Kamegera at Fardo Yiridani Bizabati Maghrab, there's the people are hungry, there's genocide, they got to prepare themselves. In his bomb, they got to take care of their people. I understand that takes some time. Do you believe TDF Ateh? I know your opinion may be different, Mr. Bayani.
أنا حجي assumption I burn you. TDF أنت عم كوغورو قبل علي إساس هون قبل علي أبي نسوم طرح نفولتوا عقمن حايلين نحر اليوم أبتزلوا عدو خدون أيصلون يمي تعقمي تقند وساني وقخ تقبر شمان تورحي كواقو خلو كندين صحات قدفوتي بهقدف صفئي بناي أبي سراوي صفئي مسكيناي سلام أو حزبي بناي تو قدمي أبزي كومنت مهابي بزي ترخيب زلو عود بوحا انقوا حقوصكم كبل دلي أبقال أجيكم نساعد جمر نيروا نقول لكم أبقات سيس أنا حكم عبيتنا اشتو بفلاي كعب أب جنبارات كوينون كواغوص أنحو جدانو دك تقراي نزع عوات زي سنكم نخيسكم حمد لحيسكم زرقاقصكم انقوا حقوصكم ملو عوات يقبر لكم إذناتكم عوات نحنا عوات كم مخانو نحناون اقرؤوهم إذا أصهم غيركم أزلهم كنقبر مخانا إذا أصهم غيركم أزلهم كنقبر مخانا بقى لي رقاقص لكم مخنياتو أبلع لهم حجي كورز أنا حي نايم تصنع تابز شمون تورحي بإساز مرحو بأبيز مرحو حيلي حزب إرترا 3 عمت صنيتيو أباخومن أبانا نجم في اللي استرخبن تايو نسخهم كم حادث بكونكم تتقرنيفكم أنصار تزعبت عليكم بملايين قصر سراويت أمتيوم سعيركمو نهنا دخمت جن هاجر كي حازنا أبكال عطو سلزاتنا إتوم أنصار إساياز نقاوم أكالات تابعنا حدا خوينا خنقال زي كالنا 3 عمت صنينا 3 عمت تقاومت إرترا زاناي أحواتنا تغارو الرجال يصمنوا زلوا عود عباي تمرتيا ناتهم تمهارو خوينا أبصرح نتو سلازي شجرنا يقرنا أفريقيا شجرنا إثيوبيان نا إرتران إساياس أفوركم جوجلون يمي إزي تمهاراي نا أديس أبابا أبي أحمد تمهاراي نا إساياس ممهر حماق مهروت مهرو حماق تمهرت مهرو يحمق يصبق أب إثيوبيا حق له بارلمنت له مرچ له إزي مسمصقن يتاب غزي ملس زنبرت تعنبب زنبرت هاجر إثيوبيان بعلم فوتو 17 عمت لقدر يحلفهم يمين كم دلاهم عدوم يمالالس ولا انت تقاوم إذا عوالا مسمصقن نسز نبر حقي ريا خمتانا هنا بارلاما أب 50 كلتن بارلامان يورنا بانديران يورنا هاجر نيرنا كومون كونستيشن يورنا كونستيشن أب كلمة زنبر كلمة خا زنبرو مرحتي بارلاما قوملو زنبرو زيتعي كونستيشن الكان دحر حاسيب كايو أب كتعت أتوو مس حزب سمايت كتقيرو خاني أب دمص أتوو vote if you want to change it you vote it is بوني مرت it is زدليو خا it is تعوت majority vote زخنا خاني أب تكبار يوعل constitution سمعتنا والقصب زملس هيكون constitution نهاجر من محداري مرحم مسمصه كم دلا يخفرسو كم دلا يخصلو ايكون constitution ببرلمان متصرقه اللي تكون كلهم مرحت فيه supreme power law constitution نعو تختيل كاطرح خاطيت كتقيرو تدلي خا امن دغيركا خاطيرو نايزيوم جن كلت عام 3 عامات غيرو 27 عامات سرحه constitution كقيرو فتينو ابزو زي تاعتي مالتي ስለዚህ ነታ حتى خاملس TDA عقمهم نسوم فوتو مدبهم نسوم فوتو ግን ወላን ኢሳያስ ኮርዱዎ حلمها اللي وون كواغو تموغا نسومون كخسر يمه نسوم قدم حسابهم ግን نحنا هنقدمهم من دحاني ارساوي نኢሳያስን ከም ዝኣንሰሉ ኣልጊሱ ቶም ደመኛታት ዝኩሉ አትሮሲቲ ዝገበሩ ዝኩሉ ክሪሚናል ዝገበሩ ከኣኒ ኣብ ፍርዲ ክቀርቡ እዮም ተኾነ ይተሓዙ ተዘይተሓዙ ይቅተሉ ስለዚ እቲ ንሶም ዝሓስብዎ ከኣቱ ተኮይኖም ንኤርትራ ወላው ምስ ኣምሓራ እንድሕር ዋግኡ ኮይኖም ቀሊል ነገር ኣይኮነን ብዙሕ ምድላዋት የድሊ ፋይናንሻሊ ብናይ ኣፅዋር ጉዳይ ናይ ስንቂ ጉዳይ አራይ ሰቡን ክጠፊዩ ስልካ መኪና ገርካ ዘውርካ ዝኸየት ኣይኮነን ውግእ ስለዚ ከም ኣምሪጫ እንድሕር መሪፆም ንሶም ክኸስሩ እዮም ኤርትራውያን ውን ክኸስሩ እዮም ክዋግኡ እዮም ሴም ሽት ኣምሓራውን ከምኡ سوتي ناتهم بلان نسمهم زو سنو أنا حجي كم زخ قبريهم كم زي قبرنا يبلني تسمعت جن وتهدر وج أبزين شمنت ورحز قبره وج قرفوا قبل عليه هزوز ورد حماق بدل أبصراويتهم بزح خسارات كم زلهم فلت علن وج تمرات يكونن جن بزلع على درجة نحنا إرساويان بالسودان يكون بإرساي بتجراي يكون تبقيسنا نسرع عزي كنسعره يحجزنا زين بحبار كنا قا فردين أتوم بحبار كنا قا نفردهم كذا بتوه تلهم قا ناتهم ريتشاي ما نمسب كم زجورو خم زي تجورو خدوا معك إلى النصام ناتهم مدى بالو أنت خيلوا زخولوا تقينه تزجورون اليوم لذي أب تاريخ أب حين مفرداي عند حرمتها كل ساعة صالي تنجر كل جزء في اللي ندحر لي ويرا زم عوالو ما رحتي زهطلو شجر كوينو أبزي مدبوم لمعاتهم ناكايد خلو حدقا وريقو منبري في اللي هالليكا أبتربيزا خوفيلكا تزي كوينو دم أفسيسكا يكونن ولاون تقاتيلكا دحرايون أبتربيزا خوفيلكا قد فتحو example نايتا ساعة شو منتر ريهم أغمي 98 ناي إساس initiative سراو تأتيو ورارا كايدو بعدو زامنو لي كندي millions of dollars كفل عداون توسين لي إذا كل من إنسان سموته أبى أجلس كده ما بتربيزا خايدو من فتحه وتشجر ولا أنت زي تفتحه سمم عقرم توجد طويل سلازي كل ساعة وجه تمراسي يكونن بكل خاخات قصر زور زلا أكلن زور زلا أكلن سلازي أنا بدعواتي انتاكو قبري إمي أفرات حانا يدي قبل علوم تجبر نجارات نساتهم تراحم تفلتوه مغنيات وتهدروا مصير كتفلت أي تقلنها أنا خمس أكاين ولا كايت مصنعها وتهدراوي مدب بناتكا استراتيجي بناتكا مدب بمصير حسكا خاتقبرو سلازي إزيتي أنا مالسي كومنت قريبا يكيلني what is their plan they know better than everyone اتناتهم مدب نسوم يفولتو يمن تاي قبرو زي قبر كمان يكونن جن وفتح ديو خيخهم زبل حتو جن كل ساعة أبصاب كنتو أقداسيو وجه موت الله وجه خسارة الله وجه طفاء الله ودحنكم.
Thank you. This next question is for Abel. You heard what he said? He said, hey, you know, anything's possible. TDF knows what it's got to do and it's going to do whatever it's got to do. They also understand that it takes time to rebuild an army after a genocide this long, after being in combat for this long. And his opinion is that first, congratulations to Hizb Tigray for standing up or standing on their own. Second point, he can't really comment on what's going to happen. TDF knows what they're going to do on their own. Third point, but we can't rule out that they could possibly go in Eritrea and do their thing. But he also said if they will support Eritrean opposition to go in there and remove him ourselves, all this is on the table. All of it's reasonable and all of it could possibly happen. My question to you, Abel, is as a younger person, younger than myself and Mr. Bennett, how do you see it? Do you think it's just really that simple? Is it black and white? There's no middle area. Do you believe that TDF will arm Eritreans to go in there and remove them ourselves? Or do you believe that we're beyond that point to where they're like, you know what? We don't care about you. We don't care about your opposition. We're going to go get them ourselves. Before I finish the question, there's a guy in here that he's going back and forth to everybody's name is John Smith. He's saying he doesn't care about TDF. He doesn't care about Hizb Tigray, blah, blah, blah. I'm hearing all this. I'm watching all this. But what he's not doing is he's not providing a solution on how to remove Isaias himself. Meaning, we can all say, forget this, forget that, forget TDF, forget Hizb Tigray all day. But that doesn't change the fact of what's actually happened on ground and what could potentially happen. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think and going what Bubba Banna said, congratulations, Tigray. Nobody helped them. They held their own. They defended their land. They were fully colonized by 3 different armies. And, you saw, it reminded me of, ERITREAN. You saw actors, musicians, people of all professions, people fly back from the diaspora to go defend their land, defend their people. What they did was heroic. It was inspiring. And, because of that, hats off to Hizb Tigray. And now the question is, and like Baba Van was saying, the question is, what are they going to do? First off, they're going to do what's best for them, and they're not going to advertise it. No, they're not going to be, and even they may even false advertise it. But you said what would be the best option? What do I think? I think it's, yes, I'm going to be asking the question back. I believe they're going to be hedging their bets on would arming an opposition, A, eliminate the threat to them, and B, alleviate responsibility and accountability on them in more life, or will it get them deeper into a situation and just prolong something? So I think, again, I know the decision it's, I guess we don't know about their fatality count per se. The amount of humanitarian aid, they have not nearly 1 million people starving to death on the brink of famine right now. All things are on terms of all types. So to me, I believe they're going to be hedging their bets if they have the opportunity to arm somebody. If it will hold off the threat or eliminate the threat, that's probably what they would do if it was the best in their interest, or if it would just bring back another imminent attack on their people. They may say, hey, we may cut our losses, or they may say, hey, we've been in 8 months of war. We need to recover. We need to recoup. We don't want to get into war right now or for the next X amount of months and X amount of years. I think these are the decisions. I mean, you've been in the military, Captain. They're probably hashing again. Like I've always said, it's always they're best to protect themselves, and to preserve the posterity of their current nation that's been through quite so much, or their current region at this point.
Excellent. Thank you, Abel. That's an excellent answer. So I might have misunderstood what John said, because he's saying that's not, I don't know if there's a disconnect. So Moni, if you guys have a question, write it there and I'll ask Aboy Ben or Abel. But be clear, because I'm reading what John's writing versus other people. So I don't want to be confused. But first and foremost, I'm against HIGDEF. So John Smith is saying he's against HIGDEF. Let's be clear. Okay. All right. Then what is the question? My question here in this panel is TDF going to enter Eritrea or not? That is the big elephant in the room. You heard what Mr. Bayani said. You heard what Abel said. But can you rule it out? I understand logistically they got to reassemble. They got to reorganize. They got to feed their people. First, they got to take care of their people, period. But I also know that there's, in Western Tigray, there's Amhara militia and Eritrean troops still there. I know that, right? Would you call it Heramoya? Where's the area, Abel, the name?
They got some level of ENDF, Amhara militia, or Fano, and Eritrean troops, reportedly. These are what's being reported to us, blocking the access to Sudan to get humanitarian aid routes through.
What was the name of the place? Humera?
Humera.
Okay. So my question to you, Eritreans, is TDF or will TDF, that are here with your opinions, is it a possibility they're going to enter Eritrea, because Eritrea is closer than Addis Ababa, I'm assuming, right? Because it's bordering. Or is it a preemptive strike? Or is it going to be missiles? Or is it going to be arming Eritreans? Opposition or we're going to do our own thing. Or Busudan Atium, be Egypt Atium, be Djibouti, Bahada Wagar Atium. That is the question. Again, this is a critical question. This is an important question only for me, because when we speak about this, people catch feelings. It's not true. You're in America, you're in Canada, you're not going to do nothing. Just like the rest of us. Again, despite all that, my question to you is, and then what? Is the Okolo Gazai region going to combine with them and go against Isaias? Is it going to be Auraja driven? Is it going to be religion driven? Is it a possibility? Is it going to hasbalula? That's what I'm saying. Do we think it's realistic? Is it realistic for them to go in there right now and do it? No, because they gotta regroup. We understand that. But remember, there's some regroup go over Isaias and Abicha regroup go over, right? That's why that bridge came down. Humanitarian aid ka'atu, the bridge rina sabiroma, the humanitarian kairochbu, weapons and supplies kairochbu. That's not stopping Tigray. That's not stopping TDF. I'm just speaking facts. Myself, Aboy Bayene, Hawe Abel Ambessa, we don't want Eritreans Kumotu. We don't. This is the last thing we want. So I see people saying, you want your brothers to die? No. Don't get it twisted. I don't want a single Eritrean to die, period. But we also understand there's casualties in war, right? There's collateral damage. When you throw a missile, people are going to die. When people are fighting, people are going to die. But whose purpose are we serving? Who's the king of this? Whose purpose? Are you serving Abiy Ahmed's purpose? That's what it looks like we've been doing for a while now to ensure that he remains the leader of Ethiopia. That's why my brothers and sisters, Yumotunerum, Mish. But the excuse of missiles, I get it. I understand the political play. We don't want Eritreans to die. How do we avoid Eritreans to die? The only other solution, Anazalani, to Mus'uzalo, Mus'asayas, it's the only way. I can't see any other way without bloodshed. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Bayene. He's out. All right, Abel. What do you think about that? I'm gonna read one of what John and them wrote, and then Tigray is not only heavy and impoverished, but they are suffering oncoming famine. Okay, makes sense. Okay, Abel. Go ahead. What do you think about what I just said? Do you think it's possible for a brave Eritrean to take care of the problem himself?
I think everything's on the table. I think it could be like a combination of everything that you just talked about. It could be arming. It could be supporting the opposition groups that were on the ground in Tigray prior to the conflict. It could be even a combination of Eritrean-led opposition that are being armed with an uprising inside. Whether it's people from different regions that have been waiting for an opportunity to uprise, whether it's paramilitary factions inside of Eritrea, EDF, Eritrean Defense Force, got after 8 months, that creates disagreements and factions within the military. They put sanctions on Kasai. That ties up his money. This causes discontent, inside. So internally within Eritrea, people having to follow orders when there's money being tied up. 8 months of listening to somebody, and the war didn't necessarily, they probably were told it was going to be. I mean, you're better well versed in military than me, Captain. They probably were told this is going to be 3 or 4 months. I don't think they were told this is going to be an 8-month operation when they were planning this. I don't think that was the plan. This happens. You come back, spending a lot of time, deployed. I'm sure people aren't happy within the military itself. Is there an opportunity that a military faction can break off and create a paramilitary inside? That would be ideal. That would be ideal. So I think all of these things are on the table, and I don't think it's going to be one or the other. It could be one and the other and the other. It could be options. It could be all three options. How we sum is all possible.
So check this out. War starts. Abiy Ahmed has an election. Tigray says, hurry up. He says, wait. Corona, corona, corona. This is the part that is Yom Hizbi. Let's talk facts, shall we? Election season. Abiy Ahmed didn't want to hold election because of Corona. Ilumish? Okay. Hizbi Tigray say fine. They waited. November comes around. Election happened. They got mad. They held their own election. They had a unanimous decision. But that wasn't for the whole Ethiopia. That was for Tigray, Mish. Now, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. That was just for Hizbi Tigray. Now, he gets mad. Abiy Ahmed Hariku. He goes to war with Hizbi Tigray. Missiles were sent on the other side. As a political strategist, that's not the right thing to do. There's no way a country's going to go to war with a big old, with the entire country and turn around and shoot rockets behind them. But suppose it happened. It happened. Okay, facts. Now, suddenly, coronavirus didn't matter no more. Now you're sending thousands of troops to go fight Tigray. What happened to the corona excuse? There was no coronavirus, whatever. He didn't care about that no more. The irony of it all.
But the war on 5 different fronts that he was able to manage an election.
You wouldn't have an election because of corona, but you sent people to die despite of corona, right? Then you bring Eritrean troops in there on top of corona. This is the logic that's just amazing to me that people can actually understand this. Continue. War starts. Hizbi Tigray, he hires genociders, he hires Arab genocide experts, all this. Then you have Tigray and TDF and TPLF fighting. Now all of a sudden, Abiy Ahmed ran out of troops. He's begging everyone for help. Nobody's listening to him anymore. Isaias continues to help him because I just saw reports that Eritreans are disappointed that he folded. Eritrean government's disappointed that Abiy Ahmed folded. Now, so they went through all this. The difference between Hizbi Tigray and their diaspora versus Eritrean Hizbi and our diaspora, there's a disconnect. Eritrean diaspora, Hizbi Eritrea, but Eritrea alone, there's a disconnect. But Tigray, again, they all connect somehow. They're all Yisamamomo. They all understand each other. Let's go there. Now, Abiy runs, tucks his tail, Tahabi Ilo, whatever, cool.
Connection Amalo, David.
That's about Allah.
Huh?
We see you perfectly.
Allah, we can hear you.
نرياك لنا سمعك لنا.
Connection حماق سمع له.
اسمع لها نرياك لنا. صبوا غيرنا.
هو حجتي جمس هايو حطو.
كودامو دحريو answer قبره. كودا.
Okay.
So the main point is خلورينا history يرداكم يو. ولا عمات ولا محرار ولا مسرع كله سمعنا خلورينا whatever. The question is زخلو خوينوس حجي ختبل revenge كاتو ختبس كما easy. I don't understand it. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. If you shoot me, I'm gonna shoot you back. If you shoot me, I'm not gonna sit there and wait 10 years and be like, you know what, Dahan. Because their survival, Hizbi Tigray survival, depends on removing Isaias and Abiy. They can't just let it go because these people are working on their extinction. So what do you expect them to do? Time could go, bro. This is my question, boy Ben.
Can you unmute him? I think he might be muted.
لهم
حجي سمعك لنا.
اتي انتاي خجبر نسي سلت كم تزبل كايجن مجمريا كل هزبي ارتاح خلطه زلوه زوجزي مستجمره زوجزي قداني غير نحن اوقع يكون امونغو منغس اثيوبيا كلها زلوه تግራይ አካል ኢትዮጵያ ይበ نحن فوليات هاجرينا አውሽት ኢትዮጵያ ዝተረኸበ ባእሲ ዝተፈጥረ ባእሲ ንኢትዮጵያውያን ጥራሕ ዝምልከት እንተኾነ ግን ኣብ ኣስመራ ዘሎ ኣርሜን ኣብ ዘይምልከቶ ኩናት ኣትዩ ደቅና ኣጥፍዩ ሰላማዊ ህዝቢ ተጋሩ ኣጥፍዩ ኣብዚ መድረኽ እዚ እግሩ ንትግራይ ገፁ متجمره حمورا خارم على 5 على 4 متجمره عاولنا تقايمنا كم مجمره علت ابزي اف ساندياغو احواتنا تغار سلام او سلفي غيرو مسؤوم كنا عيلنا نحنا سراويت إرترا نتجراي آتيو كموت كقتل أين فقدن مغنياتو نحنا فولي هاجرينا إثيوبيا ناتهم شجرين تغنى عرقة مغنى يعرقوا عن مونغو أنت تجاوي لهم بجاهاتكم سبعة تطفوا يبل كابزة حالي فوقها أفحيز السوق يبل إذا قلت لازيجن ناس علماء سلزغنى بزي عقرقر كنبر سلزيكل إزاي بهال سراوي إزاي بهال قولنا أشودك 10 عمد كابتن هرتم وسيلو أبزا حوزيت أبي سو تزقرم نسيكونا تزقرم وقع جيجا مخانو نافلتو أبتسعان شمنتن بسنك إساس تفترة خونات كندي دك إدخا إرتراويان كم تطفو كندي دك إدخا إثيوبياوان كم تطفو إندا فلتو أبزا ساعات زي نتقراي يقولوا إتيو نافلتو مدقافهم نسو تراحونا يكونن مستموررتي أمحارو مستموررتي تعيات أمحارو لو قناعات أمحارو لو كم هزبي بهزبي أيتسلمني قنتهم وررتي دقفتنا تورار زخونو أمحارو مسام كوينو أبدي قوتيهم تدمرنا نقول نيرو we are Ethiopians بقول نيرو 30 عام هزبي إرسال دومو زرسسلو قالسي تدمرنا خبلو خلو وزيهم إرساويان دو مسلوكم هيكونون يخيدو حجنا أديس أبا هلو تخف متيا اتهم تدمرنا زبلو لازم Ethiopians قرفهم يخيدو إثيوبيان نستطرح هيكونون أنا زحمني تقاومت زنبرو تقراي سي يتفاد أزبلو لو بعلم فلطو يتفو أتم تقاوم إرسا 10 عام تابع أديس أبا زغوركم بفلاي 20 years أبا إثيوبيا supply ناقورم freedom كم دلائي ممكن قاساقصو organize بغورو قلة انقفاضات زغورو نيرومم قن أنا نعيري أني مريتهم تفكيرهم ليك قالسلو كابو من حاجة زايد لني كل يكون تحجزوا نعم سابورت خطوفو تمن يوم لهم حجة كان تقبل يومي قن أنا انتاين بلكم أكن دبزي خونك عاويل كامزراب أبا خيرون كواغو نيروهم كمتم دخازو مرتزلو خفتنوا نيروهم تعمت تقوينا هاي قبرون حسوت سلوزغن هقدر اتو قجل حساوي اتو مناف سعبتها حسوت يمي زحزنا نقن أنا تهم دقوم ناقش تقول عطا مهارو عزيز مهارو ولا تنهرتهم ونزودو كما حسوتو مخانم راح زحزناني مغنياتو اتي جنريشن كورس هالو خاب سرابيتو تصبقهم با حماقو هقدر اتي زمرح زلو قجل حساوي اتو من عوس صعوبها حسوت يمي بس خسيان كأخذو مسجد كأخذو It's ridiculous. بتاع مزقرم نقري. إزاي رمتهم هقدر زبالو. حجرة بيلو. حجرة إساس. قلبابو قلعو هاري مليلن. أنا تي سراويف تتعرف ذللا نعد مؤتاوي حقو سني. مغنياتو كاموتوني دحين. أبتحتي إساس كونكا. اتي تدحنا غزياوي امبر معات قصير خطا اكاي مغنياتو وسايت بلنا خاصها سلازم تايم عليه اتوم دغفتي نهغدف اتوم ولا سراويتنا نابودو زاربو هغدف يمي ولا تقامتين انت نبولو انت بولو تقامتي كون حسوت يمي they are liars they are not opposition ورارنا تخايله اب لعلي كال هاجر أمونغو آتيخا تحجز سلسته آلو تاو زخونه إذا سرعت إذا قجل لذي زقابر الله شعن شعتين 280 هوحات ونيرسرا عديمو نتقار لحرنة إرسرا نسودان اتيو بشعن شعتين 290 عامة مرت وق بدوب أمسيلو إذا كل من إسي نا إثيوبيا كنا أنا هاليقو حج خاء مستماطبات هادينات أديتاتنا زقروتو أمحرا مسؤوم كوينو نتو مسو زقالس نبر ولا في اللي هالو زقالس نبر بساحل من أنت إرساخ ما تسوي أمامي نحنا من أنت منقص قورد إرساوي أنا بإثيوبيا تسويهم تجارو خاب إرسال تسوي أمامي أبنا نحلهم عت ألوتاتات نيرو مفللاي نيرو وإذا ترفا نيرو إذن فلتنا تاريخ دون نسيكون أنت عطو دم زغفر قالوا هزبي تمليس خوارات تخلو سحزن نقري سلازي انتا قبل دالي عني أتون كيف لتقوم تتاليلكم داتي حرزي قجلة تغبز لهم تملسوا ناب نور هيواتكم إذن دم دايلكم إذن هاجرنا أن هزبنا زيت زلوا نعود تدقوا زلهم كا مسؤ خدق أسوقهم ما هنا تقدعتهم كالو انتايو حقي ما نمسى بايك يوروني فتحيا سبن فتحين دحر رزق على ساليو خوينو فتحي أبز تبدلو هاجر رئيتون حسابون كب جدا تبعاتها أبي يمن ورار تخايدو بتينا السعودية وديت تقاوي من أيو أب كل هاجرات عرب فلسطين يخون أب سوريا يخون أب بسز نبرة يخون أب ليبيا أب تونسيا يخون إيه سبعة أو تسرحة حسابنا رئيتنا من أين ولا بأكل تذكرنا أب قربتنا هاجر تجراي روز خونه ورار بخال هاجر إرترا من تجراي آتيا ورار كتكايت كلا مسهدف كوين زخدا أكل كدعي دوكور أزي سدت دوكور زي أندام هاري همبرجر ندابرعي أب لسلوس فرناش نادك أسي دك رخاجن إيشو كوكو تيت كوكو كوماتو يتاقع علوم نيرو إذا بتاريخ زحتتي أوقع نحرقاتي خا من ساعتنا من ساعت إرترا نتقرأ كأتو خلو أمر عايكون نزغر زلو أبتمقت عايكون نزغر زلو كوماتي أم زغر زلو أب زي ملكتهم قنا اسكي نسم تقارس كم صلاة يخم مسك تدارو كم دق حوهم دق حفتهم كي صلاتهم تقارس صلاتهم ما يكونوا كم صلاتي نعي صلاتي يكون تقارو أحواتي مشي قربتي مشي تواليد نعي فللينا دوبي نسوم إثيوبيانيم نحنا إرساوينا دحار إذا وجد أتوه نتقرأ إذا أتوه سراويتكو بتوم سببتي أخلاقاتنا إساياس قال تقاهم تقعد سببتي بهايمان زريوا قال زريوا زيهم كابو فنشو مرحيقهم زيت أمتو تقرينيا اللو تقرأ بلين اللو كوناما نار اللو هدارب بن عامر اللو عافر ساهولو إذا كله إرساوي أبو طفيله بس دم زي قد حتى تقوم سلازي زي كروم تخا حصان تقرط ملو بلبولاتنا زي كروم تخا حصان تقرط ملو كروم تخا يكون حاجة جبل ولا يسبر هيك تسكاني كوموهم سمكا توم دك دخاخ موتو توم تمهرت زي صغبو كبدم زي صغبو ماي زي صغبو بتيمت حلقون صغبو ولدهم على زدلهم كموتو أتاقعهم جغانو تقالس تግራይ ታሪኹም ኣለኹም እንታይ ገይሮም እንታይ ሰሪሖም ሚሊዮን ሰራዊት ምጻእ 2 ሚሊዮን ሰራዊት ምጻእ ኩሉ መሬት ትግራይ ሬሳ ገይሮም ጥራሕ ዘይኮነሲ 6-7 ዝኾኑ ማሪኾም ካብዚ ዝኸፍእ ስዕረት ርኢናን ሰሚዕናን ኣይንፈልጥን መሬት ተዋጊኣ ህዝቢ ተዋጊኡ ትብዓት ተዋጊኡ ታሪኮም እዩ ቃልስናኮ 30 ዓመት ጅግንነት ዝሓለፈ መሬት ትብዓት ህዝቢ ስለተቃለሰ ይተዓዊትና ብሰንኪ ኢሳያስን ጉጅሉን ግን መንእሰይና ፈሓፋሒሉ ኣብ ዓዲ ስደት ዓዲ ከዓ ጥራሕ ኣትሪፎም ኣለዉ ስለዚ ኣቱም ገዛ ኣለና ገዛና እናበልኩም ነዚ ጉጅለዚ ትሕግዝዎ ዘለኹም እዚ ጉጅለዚ ክኸይድ እዩ ታገዛኹም ከዓ ኣብ ሓራጅ ክትወርድ እያ ምክንያቱን ህዝቢ ኤርትራ ምእንቲ ገዛ ኢልኩም ዘጥፋእኹም እየ ብታሪክ ተሓተትኹም እየ እዞም ኣብ ወፃኢ ዘለኹም ምዝ ስርዓት እዚ ከለብለብ ትብሉ ዘለኹም ኣኽላባት بتاريخ تحطوتو بجبن تحطوتو إساس راح يكون زعتت سلازي إذا هزبي زي نص هزبي عاود عدد ولا هزبي نص هزبي بسونكم جن أب جبن أتحلكمو أرتم عوض أزلهم مداخرتي حصوتي دكهم ده عزيز صدق دقهم أبزخونكم تمهروا لهم دقهم صريحهم كساب ساعات شعاتنا إنه هو يدوك سلو إرسراو من سيجن نهي نسلاس عمد أفيو أجيبهم يوم تبلوهم نيركم أبلان بادو زال أفو بتخسيانكم أكن ده حيمانة هاو سرح ፖለቲካው ስራሕ ይሰርሕ ሰብ መይቱ ሓደጋ ተራኺቡ ፖለቲካ ንቤተክርስቲያን ኣይገዝኦን እዩ ንስኻትኩም ግን ትእዛዝ ትጽበዩ ናይ ላምፓዱዛ ተመክሮ ኩሎም ቤተክርስቲያናት ብህግደት ዝምርሓ ክሳብ ሲግናል ዝወሃበን ተጸብየን ደቅኹም ደቂ ሓውኹም ደቂ ሓፍትኹም ከምዚ ናይ ህግደት ሰዓቢ ነውራም ካብ ሕብረተሰብና ነውራም ዝኾነ ሓተላ ህዝቢ ዝኾነ ሰሚዕናን ርኢናን ኣይንፈልጥን ላምፓዱዛ ጠፍኡ ኣብ ሲናይ ጠፍኡ ንፈልጥ እኮ ኢና ክንደያ ሸሓት ከፊልኩም ደቂ ሓውኹም ደቂ ሓፍትኹም ካብ ሲናን ካብ ተፈላለየ ቦታ ከም ዘውፃኹም እሞ ካብ ሲናይን ካብ ተፈላለየ ቦታ ክትወፅኡ ከለኹም ሲ ነዚ ነዞም ቆልዑ እዚኦም ኣብዚ ሓደጋ ዘእተዎም ንዑ ትድግፉ ከም ዝተረፈ ዓመታን ክጠፍኡ እዚ ትዘሕዝን እንታይ ዓይነት ሓንጎል ኣለዎም ንህግደት ዝድክፍ ሲ እንታይ ዓይነት ኣእምሮና ተሓሳስባን ኣለዎም ፈጣሪ ድዩ ህግደት ኢሳያስ ፈጣሪ ድዩ إساس كو كمان نمسبي صباح كو طوع له خيدي جزي أخي لجوك موت ولا تقتل لجوك موت خيدو كوي أنت أديهم موت جوروكم شعوب أنتم مخلبات حزب إرترا بأخون يتفريجو حجة إذن قول حصانات فرناش عم صار لي عرات عم صار لي لهم تليفون كدولو سمعنا زي صرحوا له عرات زي صرحوا له فرناش كوزو زي حزن نجري أب تاريخ إرترا 5 عين التصريح يفلتن بجكا زوم نورانا زياتهم حالف تهدف نين ما توم فرناشين شحانن كسرقو this is ridiculous زحزن ነገር anyway ኣብ ስምዒት ኣትየ ምክንያቱ ነውራ ምስራሕ ስለ ዝተገብረ እቲ ጉዳይ ከ ክሓልፍ እዩ ዝለከመ ለኪሙ ክኸይድ እዩ እቲ ለውጥኻ ክመጽእ እዩ ክንተሓሳሰብ ኢና ካ ኣምላኽ ብዕድመ እንተልዩና ክንተሓሳሰብ ኢና ነፍስ ወከፍ ከተማ ዘለና ንፋልጥ ኢና ከምቲ ንዓና ኣብ ሊስት ኣትኹም ብላክ ሊስት ገይርኩምና ዘለኹም ንስኹም ኣብ ብላክ ሊስት ከም ዘለኹም ክትፈልጡ ኣለኩም ስኹም ጥራሕ ኣይኮንኩምን መድረክ ክመጽእ እዩ ናብ ደቅና እውን ክነሕልፎ ኢና ንደቅና እውን ጸላእትናን ፈተውትናን ክነፍልጦም ኢና ኣብዚ ትገብሮ ንፈልጦ እኮ ኢና ትገብሮ ውዲት ኣብ ልዕሊ ደቅና ትገብሮ ውዲት እኮ ንፈልጥ ኢና ኩሉ ዶኩሜንት ኣለና بمدرك نركول لنا أملاح تعنا ترحبنا دكنا ها نململهم على ريوم زم جوان دكنا نحنا جبروس لبلنا يوم زي كونو أم بيبهم ريوم حاكن حاسوتن زموزن زلوا دكنا دك هجرف هايكون دك هجرف كم بطاتهم كدعتهم فكورس عيات علو خبهم تبعت علو جن مبزحتهم بسهم دناقور أبوتاتهم يا دام أتحساسهم دناقور نحد ديكتاتور سعيبهم زغرب أمريكان ناتقمط they are living here نا أمريكا ترامب مرحانيرو كاب ترامب زحمق سبايل قل election تقبلهم بحق خيرهم بحق أوليدهم صادقون من حدا حرادي 300 سوسان زغون إسربيت أقويمو كندي منسياتن كندي عبيتن كندي لباماتن أسيرو نزت تدقفو كابز خف حماق قالو انتهالو نبقاقاس هاجر أوريدكم أوريد أسر سرعات نزت تدقفو سكرم نقري انت عينت حنقولي دولون كرداني كدني جن زي مودعت له جزيه له معلت له كوداي تلوت خاخ مصي እዚ ታሪክ እዚ ከዓ መሲሉና ዝብሎ ነገር የለን ክንት ሓሳሰቢና ሓደ በሓደ ነዚ ዘይፈልጥ ነዚ ወራር እዚ ዘይፈልጥ መንእሰይ ምጥፋእ እዚ ዘይፈልጥ ጃስ ዝሞተ ዝተቀብረ እንተ ዘይኮይኑ ከይሰምዐ ከሎ ዘቀሰ እዚኦም ግን ብሂወቶም ከሎ ክከላኸሉሉ ነዚ እንዳተንፈሱ ከለው ትንፋስ ዘለዎም ሬሳ እዮም እዚኦም ሬሳ ሪኹም ኣለኹም ሬሳ ይዛረብን እዩ ደገፍቲ ህግደፍ ግን እንዳተዛረቡ እንዳሰምዑ እንዳተንፈሱ ከለው ሬሳ እዮም ምክንያቱ ሓቂ ቀቢሮም ዝኸዱ ፈራሓት ኢግኖራንስ ፍጹም እንታይ ዝርድኦም ክርዳኣኒ እዚኦም ሲ ኣብ ኣሜሪካ ዝነብሩ ዘለዉ የንብቡ ይፅሕፉ ተማሂርና ዩኒቨርሲቲ በፂሕና ይብሉ ሓቅን ሓሶትን ጠፎም ቆልዑ ህፃናት ደቂ 13 ዓመት ደቂ 14 ተታሒዞም ተማሪኾም ዝተባሃሉ ሓሶት እዩ ይብሉኻ ታይነት ሓንጎል እዚ ነው ስለዚ ንስኻትኩም ለብሙ ከማኹም ዘለዉ መንእሰያት ንስኹም ኹም ወረስቲ ታሪክ ከማኹም ዘለዉ መንእሰያት ዋላ ብህግደፍ ዘለዉ ርጎብዎም ኣረድእዎም ኣይትበኣስዎም ከምዞም ዓሻታት ሕማቃት ኤርትራውያን ዓበይቲ ከክንዳና ዝኾኑ ምሳና ዝጋደሉ ዝነበሩ ከዲዖም ዝኸዱ ገሊኦም ከዓ ተሓቢኦም ከይተዛረቡ ሱቅ ይብሉ ሓቂ እናርኣዩ መታን ዓዲ ክኸዱ ሃዲዛ ዓዲ ታነ ኤርትራ ከይደ እንታይ ነብር ከለኹ እዚ ኤርትራ ፍትሕቲ ኮይና ከምዛ ዓዲ ዘሎ ፍትሒ ኣብ ፍትሒ ዘለዋ ሰላም ዝነብር ህዝቢ ተኾይኑ ክትከይድ ተዘይከደ እዋ ዓደይ ክሪኦ ደሊ ግን ዓደይ ሰላም ከሎ ክሪኦም በሪ ኣሕዋተይ ደቂ ሓውበይ እናተኣስሩ ክሪኦ ተኻዓብሰለይ ዋት ዘ ዩዝ ጉሄ ክመፅእ ሓዚነ ክመፅእ ንሳቶም ግን እዞም ካብዚ ዝኸዱ ኣኽላባት ደገፍቲ ህግደፍ ኣብኡ ኮይዶም ክሽርሙጡ ቆልዑ ንኣሽቱ ካብ ሓንቲ ክወልዱ ካብ ሓንቲ ከጥንሱ ንስቶም ገዲፎም ኣብዚ most of them they do that they are dogs እዚኦም ዝገብሩ እንተ ሓቲትኩም ረእይዎም ኩሎም ዓዲ ኸይዶም قلعة وليدو ويتمرعيو كابز خف كيف زخونه تجبار تعلو مبرنا هاجر حاسيوم حاليوم فتيوم هيكون يفولتوا كم تقولوا قل مثلا عد قيد اليوم نبي حقي تاريخ زي بلو مراسة حاتيمي زخونه خوينو حجي أب بزح بوتا أبزح حسابات تداريبه سلازي زي أب تقرأ أتروسيدي تعمل زي حزن نجاريو تجارب حواتنا دقيمة نقع حقوسكم كابت جوبتات وتشكم أب كتماتاتكم قع تمرسكم حجة قبل منه كأني نريو كنسرحنا قاب حدهم صوب مسعب تقرف لو من سرح صراحة نسرح ولا تمسك ما ينأمنوا منا we don't trust them because they are liars حتى زي فوتو هقدفاويان حصوت يمين أنا مس هقدفاويان أبالات هقدف كاب سرح مزوم جاكانو تقارو مزوم قلنا خيان سرح مرس مخنياتو حواتي حوي وتحوي زلوين نقريلا حوي سراغ انتقوينو حوي حصاو انتقوينو حوي حق قبيرو زغي انتقوينو كيح بحري اتو who cares هذي قدمون كنقال استلنا نفتحي كندي جاكانو قبيرنا هنا تاريخنا زم جاكاننا رسعنا خاين خيدنا كمتم زرسعو كمتم كدعت كمتم تقلامة سواء جاكاننا أبزي مسانا نورو عبيت حواتنا شامبل باشا أبوي موائل سواء أبراهام ولد كيروس كلهم زيهم سواءاتنا سواء أبراهام نقاسي سواء دباشاي زم كلهم جاكانو أب كاليفورنيا زقبرنا نافق على زي مسوية سواء هبت تسفا سلاسي زيهم كلهم أب أريزونا تسوؤوا أب تفل عليه وتاتا أب كلمة أب دحريت نافق على السوية نافهم تاريخ قط أبلنا حزنا أب كم على بقى في نفس حينا سلازي جوق من سخاتكم كا نحنا انت حالفنا وروس سخاتكم قصلوا قصقوم إيه زعبه نزنا أسي حلف نسخم كا نتوم أيش معهم تعرف سلازي هقدافن صعبتومن حقوقهم كسبوري أمي بقال سنة معس anytime أبز قرب أبز خونه كذا قريبي حجة الصعارية أمي أتوم بجزاء على النايلو رقمركم على أتوم بجزاء علينا أمنا سوقف كتمات زلنا نخلهم نفلتهم قبل السنة أتوا كل سب أب كتمات زلوا ددي حد السرعة زخيلو تدمرنا زبل له قبل أتوا إرتراس بحقوق حلاي شعون السوم الثلاثة ميتين سوسان السربية أتيما زلوا نسوم كأتوا يمي ويك أبزع قبل يمي زم حصوتي سلازي جوهم هيتحمقوا قط ولو قط انت الكعات حقي اب علامها اب حقي مش حسهم اب حسوتاكم قط ولو اب تحقي امريكاويان اوروباويان اذ ببرزلو جينوسايد تطور كله خلو امريكاويان اوروباويان دقربوهم من تግራይ نحنا نعنا لي قربنا اي توالدنا نينا مسودان اي توالدنا نينا مجبوتي مس اي توالدنا نينا مس يمن اي توالدنا نينا والدنا كوين جن سله توالدك راح زي كونه فتح زي يقول سرح كسرح كله اب كباريخه قداماي تطوق تبلالك مخنياتو فتحين كله سلام يا تيك كلتيهم مسداويت من حساب عيسكم انا مسداويت كون انا عخان دحري خدك عكا خويني فتحي كون نعقب تطلب مجمريا شارنت هيكون ابوتاتنا قوم يمهرومنا ابوتاتنا نحق سباكين نزتباسي ولا دم زقتله سب دم كيقصل قلتفهم زاليو إذا حجي تفطيرو زلو باندانا هيغدف جن نبين عينتي ندار اخا يحسو ندارا أخيو حاسب تماهيرو ولا ثمن إسي زم كلهم من إسات ببحر صغيرهم زموز دحر خنديش سلمتا ببحر صغيرهم من أبحر خمسة نخاطو غيرهم أحواتهم أبحر قاتو زقبرهم مني هجرفن مسارح هجرفن أبي أوروبا مسيوم أو أمريكا مسيوم تطعسنا يوم اليوم نعوم دقفو كاب زخف موتالو كاب عديك وط زقبرني تملي سيدقفو سلازا أجوهم تحر حدا أمبريلا له أب أمريكا يأكل زبال مش كله ودلتاتي هالوا بزي قدس perfect زغون حق اللوو يتوم زمور حزلوون عرامات يومي أبصراح جيجاتا كركب خليو أي قدسني هاجراوي علامة حسكا نهاجر ليتم اسمع عالتن تسريحكا أبو آتها هتقالس تتقريفنا خنقالس هالنا خنبركلنا تايم عليتي تتودي بزلو حيلتا نعقو تأكيبنا نسرح يوم عليتي ودبات هالوا ودبات كن بدون زموتا يعني انت تتقرنفن بحقي هاجر فوتوات خوينن هاجرن كتحران كمزان اي تግራይ ገይሮማ ዘለው ዝገብራት ኮይነን ሕጂ ክጥርነፍ ኣለዎ just now tomorrow after tomorrow ዝብሎ ነገር የለን ሕጂ ንሕር ዘይጥረረን ግን ሞይተን ኣለዋ ብድሕሪ ሕጂ ዝመጽእ ለውጡን ንዕንቁልሕ ኣይብለኒ ኣብ ዘለዎ ሞታ አይነ 30 ዓመት ገይረን 10 ዓመት ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ገይረን they did nothing حجي بليم ويانا خمس قولنا اليوم تحسوتي لايرز تاسري حمصو نعدها اوبوزيشن تكونكاكو عدها اتيغا تسرح امبر اب تግራይ ኮንካ አዲስ አበባ ኮንካ ክስፎና በላዕካ ኮን ተሰርሕ ቃልስ ቆሙ ይኮነን አቦታትና እኮ ኮምቢሎ ማይኮን ተቆልስ በዓል ቦና حمد ሰዓወተ ጅግና በዓል ጣህር ሳልም በዓል ابو رجاله بعل ابو شنب كاب وتادرات ناي السودان نيرو من عدن قالوا سمصيب they were military in Sudan from south of Sudan يمصيب more than 200 300 زغون وتادرات اب السودان زنورو حواتنا عدنا ناب ኢትዮጵያ تحوش هايلو اب السودان كوينا ما يكونوا تقاليسو اوش ارتاي ماتيو اب ኢትዮጵያ ኮይኖም حنت نجر كيسرحوا حجزونان إيه كتقفوا لهم ويانا سولي تقفوا هاي كابود قاد بنكرهم وسيم تم كتقفوا لهم تقولوا نوركم حجة خان نريو أنت خم تقولوا كل جزء عم مدرك الناس قايركم تقولوا سلازي now it is well as أجزي حجي تفتير الله تمكرو نه حزب تجراي حزب إرترا إلله تمكرو نه حزب تجراي كا ኣብ ተግባር ክነውዕሎ ክንብገስ ኣለና ዘረባት ኣይኮነን ስለዚ يقنيل يا بزح نطبطات عادي واحد جايز نباهم وقدفو كالو حتتليكم حتتنمو كالو جايز لدني by the way داويت in 2-3 days حدا حاونا ما يتلبزي ولا حنتي يقولون حاونا براخي تكلا هايمانوت البهال بزح حميمو كيدني فيلر نيرو أبز خلطة معلت ميت الله هجي داويد قوفان ديل كاخفتلو ناتو عس شمن كل نقرن سدل كاي كلهم من إساعات حقاقوز إزي دخا أبا قلقلوت نيرو بنت أشومو بشمال باب بيلو مسيو كابز مس أيت عامل حمام طرح حنت معك صريح يفلتني بحمام ليفر نيرو كيدني فيلر غيرو حجي أبز خلطة معلت أبز خلطة معلت عارف له هجي سلازي ناتو شمن قالن صدركم كلهم من إساء كما هم من إساء عدمو خيص أجابين عارف له حضرهم قوفان دقبرلو نتي ناي مقبرين ناي قلملين حجز كخانو حضر أبلكم
All right, that sounds good, man. I say سمعكم مساعز لهم أبزي حوقتنا سمعكم حالة خاب حاونا مويتلو نحجزينا تكون fund me مسبع الأبيل إنهم the information كدول الكاي إن كابو هنك سلينا. So God rest his soul. Jigna halifu kunhaguzayna. Thank you. Powerful words. Hipkana samanana menharam izarabu lubzahani. I will give you each 1 minute each to say your goodbyes. But before we say goodbyes, a few things that we didn't discuss, we could come back later. Because in her TDF or Wayan in her Atiom of Eritrea, Rehum, Machanit Gobrali again is size 4 at Harai, comes Yams Gobrana. Muhammad you in her Atiom, but we discussed that later. If we don't remove him, Eritrawi Balan and her remove Agabernayan, it Hefret not Nai. Salasa Ahmed Kofilu, Balanouts, we didn't remove him ourselves. We got to eat that embarrassment if some other nation removes him for us. That's an embarrassment that we just have to eat for the rest of our lives. Third point, I doubt this will happen, but someone asked, what if TDF was to unite with Abiy Ahmed and attack Isaias Afwerki? I really doubt this, but if TDF was to unite with Abiy Ahmed because they're Ethiopian and go after Isaias Afwerki, it makes no difference because in the end, they're going to go after Abiy Ahmed for all he did because technically Abiy Ahmed is totally responsible for all this because he is the unelected prime minister of Ethiopia. Therefore, had he not invited Eritrea, it would have been an invasion on Ethiopia by Isaias Afwerki. Just some food for thought. TDF, Sudan, Afar, and Eritreans should team up to take Isaias down. Somebody else brought that point, said it was more practical. The Afars have been fighting and fighting and fighting. I think they hold the key to Asab and the key to the horn. We'll discuss that later. But first, I would like to give Abel the mic to say goodbye. And then Baba Bayene, you guys got 1 minute and 30 seconds each. And then I'll say my piece. Go ahead, Abel. We can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying Baba Bayene, Subuk Leila, thank you so much for coming on. Honored to meet you. I'm very inspired. Thank you so much. Two things I want to add that Baba Bayene said. Let me see. He spoke about how there is a lie even on Google about Mele. I wanted to remind, he said that. He wasn't lying. If you look here, Wikipedia says flag of ELF, also UN given flag of Eritrea. He wasn't lying. That's a lie. Hasotu. Ka'azi flag, it's supposed to have 11 flowers on each. That's not the real flag. These have a lot more on each branch. It's supposed to have 11 flowers. He wasn't lying. He said there's lies on Google and all that. Hasotu. He was telling the truth. And the designer, Degia Bayana Sahaya from Honda. He has a name. He has a face. He's not the UN. And this is what that gentleman looks like. I just wanted to show everyone that picture, and I wanted to bring it back to everybody. Thank you so much, and I'll pass the mic to Baba Bayana. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Abel. Thank you for coming. Everybody was pleased to have you guys here. You guys did a wonderful job. Mr. Bayane, you got 1 minute, 30 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
መንእሰይ ኣነ ዝላቦ እንታይ እዩ ታሪክ እዩ ሕጂ ታሪክና ናብ ንቡር ቦታ ክንመልሶ ተኮይና ሃገርና ካብዛ ኣርሜን ጉጅለ ክነድሕና ክንቃለስ ኣለና እቲ ንሶም ዝብልዎ ሓሶት ፈፂሞም ኣይትቀበልዎ ባዶ ሰለስተ ዝብልዎ ሓሳዊ ማሕበርናቶም ኣሙላ ኣሜሪካ ተዋፊሮም ኣለዉ ኣሙላ ዓለም ተዋፊሮም ኣለዉ ገንዘብ ናይ ህግደፍ ንስለላ ይዝውዕል ኪዱ ዓድና ረእይዎ ጽርግያ ፈሪሱ ገዛውቲ ፈሪሱ ሰብ ፈሪሱ ሰብ ጠሚው ተሰዲዱ ኣውግጥ ጥራሕ መንእሰይ እናኸደ ከሎ ነነይቲ ሃገርኩም ዝዛረቡላ ዘለኹም ኢሳያስ ድዩ ኤርትራ ናይ ኢሳያስ ድያ ዋላ ናይ ህዝቢ ኤርትራ ዞም ደገፍቲ ንዑ ናቱ ብፍላይ ነዚ ክትሓስቡ ኣለኩም በሓላይ ኢሳያስ ነባሪ ይኮነን ድሕሪ ኢሳያስ ናትኩም ዒጫ እንታይ ይኸውን ዛት ትገብሩዋ ዘለኹም قبل لكم تورد مهانا تفوت لكم تسعان حموشتن كمية هزبي إرترا سلام يزلي نسخاتكم قلنا سلام هزبي إرترا بس بيسكمهم نسلام قرابات بس بيسكمهم مزي شيطان كونكم سلازي أنا لو بواي تعريو انت زي تعرهم كمدرك عريكم كم تنتخالي أمريتكم عد خيري بحصوتناتكم أفسدت أطو زبالي نسخاتكم كم أخرجوكم مخانا خيط رسعو أين رسعو نازي بقى بهوتنا حساب زلنا أين رسعونا سلازي دقيمة نهزب تقراي نكو حقوس كابلو نزنات كحقوس كان عنا هم إيرينا إدني تتحيزنا خاني كلتي هاجر ببناتو معبيلو سلام رهيب زنبرو لموالك مسيو أجهم كلهم نسلامن نفقرن نحونتن تدليو حوات أجهم سلامنا خمسي ودحانكا. Thank you.
Baba Bennett, thank you very much for coming. Yahwat Kulahum, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. I know this was the elephant in the room. Bizabat the elephant in the room Tazarimna, but it's necessary because we have to understand what could possibly happen. And through discussion, people understand. And at a minimum, at least the youth can understand what's happening of Adina. If you all notice, lately, since this war began, a lot of Eritreans and Tigrayans and Ethiopians are more involved. The youth is more involved. It may not seem like they care, but they care because I'm in Clubhouse and everywhere else, and they're all listening. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. We love you. Nuts in that to Hizbi. I always say that. Power to the people, peace, prosperity, and love. And through unity, we can achieve all. God bless you.
Okay.
God bless
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.